Artificial intelligence, a way of solving complex mathematics in milliseconds, has turned into an invisible driver of progress. In just 60 years, it evolved from a field of study to an integral, irrevocable cornerstone of our society. But the pursuit of an ever more powerful technological intelligence often fails to reflect on the broader perspectives needed to make universal AI trustworthy, accountable, and ethical. The goal of training an egalitarian AI is unachievable when it's programmed with datasets embedded with a past of racial, social, and economic inequality. And the ramifications of this are showing. Those who are erased by the tacit biases of faulty data are among the most vulnerable. Facial recognition systems, in their current iteration, deny people their humanity. We are at a critical point of no return for an AI-free future. So we have to face the reality and the limitations of both the systems and the data, as well as our foresight. The holy grail of automated objectivity, skewed by unconscious bias. The Algorithmic Justice League was born from this injustice. When founder and poet of code, Joy Blumweini herself was denied an identity in the digital world, she dedicated her research to uncovering the hidden biases of AI. Today, Algorithmic Justice League as an organization highlights, challenges, and calls to fight the social implications of AI. They do it through art, policy, advocacy, diverse datasets, education, and reporting. It's human nature to continue to explore, grow, develop, and improve. And for far too long, we've blindly trusted technology to take us to the next plateau. But now we know the devastating consequences of an unregulated and erroneous technology in a world where software can dictate the safety and well-being of millions, if not billions, of people. To build resilient communities and societies for the future, we need to make our tech and hold our industries accountable to building just and inclusive technologies. We need to have artificial intelligence that is not only overseen and regulated, but designed to ultimately reduce harm to marginalized groups. To make sure that those people engaged with training AI are aware of the contextual biases of data and conscious of their own pitfalls. We need to protect our human rights, celebrate diversity, highlight dignity, and include everybody along in on this journey. We need a platform like Algorithmic Justice League that creates awareness around how we design, build, and sustain more equitable AI systems.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Tammy, your success strategist and literacy educator. I help you strategize how to move in the direction of more and prepare for what's next. And one of the things that I like to share with you is one of the ways that I do that in the blockchain technology space. I educate and consult on blockchain technology and education, certification of blockchain professionals, and accreditation of blockchain programs, institutions, and organizations around the world. I also provide professional development to blockchain educators on the best instructional practices in a variety of learning environments, such as face-to-face and virtual, and for corporations who host educational training events for their employees on blockchain technology and the profession. In addition to the many areas that I research, this is one area that I research and present in as it relates to education and the educational ecosystems, both nationally and internationally. So it is my honor to share with you how I am a woman in blockchain and how I share blockchain technology with those around the world. See you soon.
sites in the on the web, but they have a collection of all the commercials that aired. And so even if you're not a football fan, a big draw of the Super Bowl is just the commercials. And so this year, I read that the average 30-second cost for running an ad was $7 million. And so, if you have a 1 minute commercial, 60-second commercial, um, they're spending $14 million because that was how long the Coinbase commercial was. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see that one, Kurt? It was the one with the bouncing QR codes. But no, so
No, I missed it. Sorry, caught me working.
it's okay. Yeah. So yeah, if you go to that link, you can see all the Super Bowls commercials, and I think what I read was it kind of reminded me of the back in, I guess it was the 1999 Super Bowl. There were a ton of commercials about the internet in general. There was pets.com. People were calling that the .com bowl. And so just
What
like
year was
this,
that?
I think it was about 1999. It was right before the .com bust.
Oh, bigbooks.com. Thank you.
Yeah, there was pets.com, a bunch of other sites, and I mean, I mean, basically, you put .com on anything, and people thought that it was gonna rocket, and we were all gonna be millionaires. And so a lot like this, a lot like then, this year there was a ton of commercials about crypto. I mean, granted, it wasn't all crypto related, but some of the ones that were hosting was Coinbase, like it mentioned, they had that 60-second bouncing QR code. And what was crazy was that the site crashed, I think, after like the first 20 million people visited the site. And I forget how many people viewed the Super Bowl. I think it was like the second highest ranked, most people watching the Super Bowl since um, I think I forget what year it was. I'm just really bad. I should know. I should have done a little more research before I talked about the story. But anyway, so the Coinbase site crashed. But that was for them. They gained a ton of new customers. There was more buzz about the ad and so yeah, so that 60-second ad, basically amounted to paying $200,000 per second. And so that was one of the biggest news to come out of at least all this the ones that came during the Super Bowl. Another one was won by, it was one of my favorites. It was crypto.com. So this was another new big company making a big splash because they're the ones that, if you didn't know, they bought the naming rights to the Staples Center in Los Angeles, and so that one, I think it's probably about midway down the page, but you'll see it's probably the it was the one for LeBron, and that was my favorite because it was basically LeBron from the future coming back to talk to himself, and it was just funny because they were talking about oh man, there's people are going to be streaming movies from their phone, wireless headphones, and so that was my favorite. That was one of the 30-second ads, but there were ads from FTX. That was the one with what's his name, Larry David. He's a comedian, comedic actor. That was funny because he was basically saying every new idea, gets poo-pooed on in the beginning, and you don't want to miss out on crypto. There was a commercial about Meta, aka formerly known as Facebook. It was kind of one about the this stuffed animal, and he's kind of going through time. Anyway, it was just kind of uh, I thought it was a little sappy, but I don't know if any of you guys in the audience want to come up and share your stories. I would love to hear from you. So welcome, V, Ashley. Thanks for coming by, guys. So that was yeah, that was the Crypto Bowl. And so Kurt, you said you were on the road. You didn't get to catch too many, or you didn't catch them. Even during the show, but did you read about them or see any of the Super Bowl commercials later on? Kurt, no, sorry. Yeah, if you're busy, it's fine. We can go on to the next story, or really this one was the one about. So next week, let me give me 1 second. I'm going to post a link to that story. This was about the upcoming executive order. So give me 1 second. I'm going to bring up that link and post it in just a second. And so, welcome, Mary, to the room. Thanks for coming by. This is our weekly news and Web3 room. So I'm going to post a link to our second story. We had just talked about some of the Super Bowls, crypto Super Bowl. I mean, sorry, I can't even speak right. The crypto Super Bowl related commercials from this past Sunday on Super Bowl Sunday. So now I'm going to be talking about the this new order that's coming out of the White House next week, or as early as next week. It's not for sure, but I think that's kind of the expectation. So give me 1 second. I'm going to post a link to that story. All right, so I'm gonna post that link in just a second. And in the meanwhile, Marv, my friend, good to see you. How are you, guy? How's happy Friday to you? How's it going?
Amy, how are we doing, brother? Haven't seen you talk to you for quite some time now. Happy Friday to you guys as well. Kurt, nice to see you. Ashley and V, welcome up as well. And, absolutely glad to be here. What's going on with you, Amy?
It's always good. It's Friday, just a nice way to end the week. And so, as we do in our club every Friday, we gather, we talk about the news, all the big stories of the week and relating to Web3, crypto, NFTs, Metaverse, all that good stuff. So it just finished talking about the some of the Super Bowl commercials from this past week. I was saying this was called the crypto Super Bowl just because of all the crypto related commercials that aired. Did you happen to see the Super Bowl or at least catch a couple of those commercials?
You're going to give me some help for this, but unfortunately, I didn't. I
Oh, I'm
know.
kicking you out. I'm just kidding.
I but you know what though? I tell you what though, I'm definitely gonna catch up to them because they're obviously all on. You could probably always watch them on YouTube, right? But you know, with that said though, I do kind of feel bad though because I was really looking forward to watching it, and I was really looking forward to watching the game and everything. But some things came up, and I was just I wasn't able to, man. But yeah, like I mean, I can only imagine. Were they off the were they off the hook or what? Were they like kind of like spectacular or what?
I liked them. And so like well I'll post that link again then because yeah, the site that I put on the USA Today article that has the all the commercials. So if you missed any one of them, because I didn't get to see them all, because between food and I ended up going to bed even before the game ended because I'm just I'm just old like that. But it's like my team wasn't in it, and but it apparently went down to the wire. And so but there were a number of Super Bowl, I mean crypto, and like I said, my favorite was the one with crypto.com and LeBron. So give me 1 second. I'm trying to put that link back up. um welcome, Nicole, good to see you. How are you?
Hey
Hey
Nicole, nice
guys,
to see
I'm
you.
doing good. Hey. Emmy, Kurt, and my man Marv, and what's up, V? Welcome to the stage. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. It's a day, and yes, the Super Bowl happened, but there's been a whole lot of stuff that happened this week, as always. So let's get going.
Super awesome, super awesome. I just wanna recognize Dana. Dana, she's a pretty amazing lady. We've been following each other for quite a while. And Ashley as well. Welcome to Web3. And absolutely, if you guys want to contribute or do you have anything to share with us, feel free to come up on the stage and share with us as well. So I pass the mic back to you, Amy. Go for it.
All right. Yeah, I was saying so there was a Coinbase commercial. I don't know if you read about it, where their site crashed because I mean they spent $14 million because it was a 60-second commercial. It was just a bouncing QR code, and that was it. It was just like some cheesy music. You'll see it somewhere on that link, and then there's a commercial for crypto.com that I personally that was my favorite because it was uh, LeBron from the future going back to visit LeBron from back in high school. This was before he declared going for the NBA, and he was talking about all the tech that was out there, and that was to me that was nostalgic because it played some some classic. I think it was Dr. Dre in the background, so that that had everything. That was my favorite. There was a Meta commercial because Nicole's favorite company. They had that was so.
This is being recorded, so it must be clarified that that
I'm
was
joking. You
recorded.
know that. Yeah. And let's see, there was an FTX commercial. So there was a lot of good commercials. I mean, then the usual suspects like the car companies. I like the. I was a fan of the Sopranos. I don't know if you guys saw that, but the not Chevrolet. They ran an ad for their new electric Silverado pickup truck that had basically a remake of that old Sopranos intro. Great commercial. Not crypto or Web3 related, but that was probably my second non crypto commercial. How about you guys?
Hi, it's Kurt. Sorry about that. I got excited when I heard you talk about that one commercial and I just shut everything down because all of a sudden all the commercials flashed back. But that was by and large one of my favorite commercials. The throwbacks to almost everything using electrical now to a lot of the commercials myself would have seen growing up with the Dr. Dre and Eminem. Actually, when I was doing my initial career was actually in Detroit. So everywhere I went, all I heard was Eminem and Kid Rock everywhere I went. I was a bit older in that generation, but the throwback to everything was really cool when I could actually see it with some of my kids as well, and they were getting excited. So all they could jump around and say was, "Boy, the millennials must have been loving this," and I felt really old all of a sudden, but at the same time really honored. So it was really cool.
You mentioned Kid Rock, and that definitely is a blast from the past. That's funny. Uh, but yeah, I too used to listen to everything back in the day. But for me, I think what stood out immediately in this, all of it really did, but in that specific commercial, it was the little CD case that he had, and he was flipping through the CDs, and I'm like, man, I used to love that and hate it at the same time because like I am somebody who like would cram uh, all sorts of CDs into like one little slip because yeah, I didn't have enough. And so it was like they would get all over the place, but his was all perfectly aligned. So that was funny to me. Um, and yes, I did invest heavily in CD Fixer, that little stuff that we would use that would fix the CD scratches and stuff. So it was just a good little blast from the past because we had the same thing for DVDs back in the day.
Yeah, for sure.
DVDs, CDs.
Memories.
What are you guys talking about? Like DVDs,
Oh,
CDs?
come
Come on
on,
now.
Marv.
Like,
You are not that young.
Easy, Mr. LP, right?
oh no, I was gonna go back to the times of
Oh,
cassette
yeah. I was
and
like,
cassette player.
if you
Spin
remember
it
when
around the
it
pencil.
Oh no, okay.
when it would snap and you
Yes.
couldn't play it anymore.
No, no. So, okay. So I have older sisters, right? And fair enough, in the 80s, they used to always play like classic rock and whatever else, right? And so I grew up through that though. But my time was ultimately really in the 90s, right? And so I came from like the cassettes because, my sisters and whatever else. But when it was my time to bloom, I guess, if you want to put it that way, sure enough, the CDs was definitely there, and it was such an amazing change going from cassettes to CDs. It was like, oh my god, where this who had this technology? The aliens come and visit us and gave us that, or
Oh yeah, that was
oh,
like black magic to me because I was I mean I tell my kids like it's just amazing like because I mean we have an old car that still has a cassette player and it's and it like I was remember telling her like it was just the craziest thing where like I found out if you were playing a song on the cassette you could skip to the next song and it would automatically fast forward and everything and you wouldn't have to wait to the end and then all of a sudden CDs happened, and yeah, I just felt so old when I was telling her about that advancement in technology, and then let alone now that you've got MP3s, and you don't even have to worry about CDs. And Nicole, gosh, I remember we have those old CD books, and where we were like jamming CDs into them, and then I felt so bad the first time I chucked all my CD covers because you didn't need those cases in the books and anything like that, and I just like just to fill up the book. Oh man, just memories, crazy.
Good stuff. A lot of people, the first introduction to like DVDs or was getting that AOL disc in the mail. And so I remember that, and that's funny. So yeah.
V, welcome to the stage. How are you guys? Did you have a favorite Super Bowl commercial?
Yes, I mean, like I watched it, and I'm a researcher myself. Actually, I was waiting for this ad, how it's gonna impact on current viewers, and it was great looking at it. The users, they hit the website, they're crazy. Yes, I agree with you. And hi, guys, my name is Vamshi Valite. I'm a researcher. I'm here for a short while. I have some meetings going on, but it's a great club discussing on the new things, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming by, and welcome to everybody else who's made it to our weekly news roundup room. We have this space every Friday afternoon just to talk about all the highlights of the week. And so the first story was about the Super Bowl, and I was saying that a lot of people were calling this the crypto Super Bowl, just like in 1999, 2000, when you had all of those commercials on just the internet, like web commercial, like pets.com, I think was the one that kind of stuck out. So that was the .com bowl. So now fast forward 20 some years, now we have the crypto bowl because there's so many crypto related commercials. So if anybody in the audience, if you guys want to come up, maybe share your favorite story, or share your favorite commercial, or you have a story to share, definitely would love to have you come up. And like we said, with 100, I'm just looking, I had to look it up. They said 101 million people tuned into the Super Bowl, which was that is the second most. It says, uh, it was since last year, really, when the Tampa Bay won, because this was the second year in a row where the winner of the Super Bowl played in their home stadium, which was last year was the first time in a row. I mean, the first time ever. This was the second year. Hoping that's not a trend, just to see, because I don't even know where the next year's Super Bowl is going to be. But anyway, guys, do you have any other commercials you wanted to share, or if not, we can move on to our next story.
Yeah, I think the one that was the most significant was, or most impacting for sure, to most folks was the Coinbase one. So they didn't say a word, just popped that QR code up there. People went nuts and went onto the website to bring it down to a screeching halt, which I just think is funny. It's a definite great PR move, and as bad as that is, it's actually very good for their site, and got them all over the news, almost even more than the Super Bowl ad itself did. So I think that that's interesting.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, even though they got a bit of a blowback because the site did go down, but I mean, just from the buzz, the new customers that they got to join, and I mean, that was definitely it was definitely well worth it, I'm sure, for them. So let me go ahead and put the link to our other story about this upcoming executive order. So the White House next week, they're expected to issue this executive order, which is going to direct a lot of the agencies around the U.S. To study crypto. So this comes a month after last month's report by the Federal Reserve that was studying the issuing of a the central bank digital currency. And so now we have this expected guidance, so that different agencies, from the State Department to the Treasury, Justice Department, what they want to do is think about a way to, how we're going to regulate crypto and all the digital assets that come about it. Not, they're not going to issue any specific guidance right away, but it's just kind of another piece, because this administration is very interested in regulating crypto, and from all sorts of security and taxation standpoints. But this was the other, just because I mean, we just heard about the Fed's intention to study a central bank digital currency. So this is I don't know if you guys had any thoughts on this, and what do you think is going to happen. So what do you guys think?
I have lots of thoughts on this. I'm not going to share most of them, but I will say that it's interesting and that, you know, I would, I stay out. That part is what I'm going to say. Thank you.
All right. All right. Yeah, Marv. Yeah, Marv, go ahead.
Marv,
Can you guys hear me?
now we can, yeah.
Okay, okay. No, what I was gonna say is that from my perspective, it's yeah, it would be a little bit foreign to speak about it, just because number one, politics, and number two, foreign politics, right? For me, since I'm in Canada, we have our own problems to deal with right now. um, but I mean, at a high level, though, at a high level, I think it's only going to be a matter of time before governments around the world will actually start considering and taking a look at things seriously when it comes down to crypto and all these different types of coins and all of that, right? So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, toss the mic back to you guys. Thanks.
Yes, like there are a lot of changes going on, Mark. And like, yes, international, I agree. Even India recently looking into the crypto, and they do have a taxation on it too. There are a lot of changes. There is one other room I created on laws, which deals with this kind of things where the new changes going in the market. Not only crypto CBD, even for Metaverse, there are a lot of, I don't know yet, but still what we are looking forward is the major changes coming on, and even I'm looking forward on it.
All right. Yeah, Kurt, how about you? Did you have any thoughts about, what may come about, or, down the road? And I think what to me, it's just they it seems like they're taking, um they want to take like a measured approach with how to regulate crypto, because I mean, like, V was mentioning, some other countries, I mean, India, China, they've, cracked down on the use of Bitcoin or mining, and so right now we don't have a whole lot of rules in terms of just, you know like an all-out ban on cryptos or mining or anything like that. And so we're, but it's definitely something on the radar. So with that said, I want to welcome, Kelly. Thanks for coming in the room. Nicole, yeah, go ahead. You had, yeah, go.
Yeah,
I always
no,
want to hear your
we can
thoughts.
finish welcoming folks. So, y'all, LC, Samuel, Graham, Noah, what's up, y'all? Um, Thank you for coming in. So, I guess like what I would rather see than regulation of crypto is them investing time to understand the blockchain, which we already know that at least some forms of government have, because the Air Force has a deal with consensus, right? So we know that. But I would also like to see them apply. We were talking about this morning. I would like to see them apply blockchain technology to the federal government contracting process, right? So in the U.S. we have this really ridiculous, very hard RFP, request for proposal process with the federal government. And I think that, applying blockchain technology to that would allow for the process to be more streamlined and transparent. And then applying it to the downstream process, which is actually the contracts piece, once a contract is awarded, being able to track that using the blockchain would be amazing, and being able to track where those funds are going to and from and which organizations they're going to would be quite fantastic, in comparison to what we have now. Um, just for the pure purposes of immutability and transparency, so we can see whose wallets those currencies are going into, and how they're being distributed, and if we were to include the work efforts that are being done there as well, we could track that too. And so I think that it would cut down on a lot of frivolous spend and a lot of misapplied and misappropriated funds. So if they're going to do something, that's what I'd rather see. And I guess you can make the argument for, oh, we have to really understand crypto first. I guess that's would be a somewhat valid conversation, but um, to go at it from specifically regulation and trying to do that piece, I'm not a fan of. So that's my thought. That's where I would like to see us head than where this is appearing to go.
Hi, this is Kurt. I'm back. So I did want to just jump and chime in on that, on government and buying with crypto. And I do think that if they do open up buying for crypto, even in Canada, it's just a matter of knowing where the money is coming from, just as trying to send $10,000 over electronic funds transfer. They just want to catch up to the people that they're not fast enough to catch. What I really think the biggest problem is with crypto and what they're trying to mask isn't the use of crypto itself within the system of buying, it's the actual system of buying itself. Because when I deal with the government up here in Canada, I'm finding that the buyers are sometimes just what's already in the system. So their buying was already inherent because it's easier to buy that. And so when it comes to the point where they want to do something new, it requires a second sheet of paper called an appendix or an addendum. There's a couple different forms, but if it's one more sheet of paper, it's extra work. So they like to buy legacy products. So when it comes down to new crypto, that would be great. And it would be awesome if the contractor could actually get paid by crypto because it may ensure they get paid faster. But again, you're coming down to it's not necessarily where the money has always been an issue. The biggest issue is the problem with the buyers inside. So thank you.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was just sending messages just now. So I think the thing is, a lot of this with this. I mean, the executive order hadn't been issued yet, so we know exactly what's going to be in it. But I think from all the stuff that I've read so far, and just from the hearings that happened, I think late actually, when of the executives from Crypto.fi in front of the Hill, is that that well, going back to that hearing, that was kind of surprising to have, and the congressional staff agree that there was on some kind of regulation form that we don't know either, but for them to say that okay, how when we're talking about uh, DAOs or NFTs as a security, I think that is a very that would be very interesting to see like how they approach that, because when it comes to raising money for businesses, there's definitely some rules that you have to follow in terms of SEC specific rules. But that was surprising. But I think whatever comes about of this executive order, it's going to seem like it's going to be very vague, because I don't know that an executive order has a lot of teeth in terms of regulating crypto and crypto uses. And whatever happens, even with the Fed paper that came out last month, any kind of legislation is going to take years. And so I think if anything, we have some time to see what's going to come about, and hopefully there'll be more information and transparency as we move forward. So
Yeah, really quick, Emmy, like before we move on, because I mean, you can change it while I'm talking, but what I think is interesting is something that you brought up, and that's time. And if anybody in the room has ever actually worked with our government on any of these, like anything ever, then you know that it moves like a very, very, very old man. Um, and so it goes very slow. And so it's interesting because this space moves at like rocket speed and like light years in the space of like a day. So um them catching up to the rate of change in this space will be interesting in trying to regulate how fast that actually is happening. Um, in terms of like actually establishing a process and being able to manage and mitigate because of the rate of change. They have to get things approved and triple approved and double approved and reviewed by committees and laws, and you know what I mean? Like all of that actually has to happen in order for something to occur on a federal level. Um, and even on a state level. So it's just it'll be interesting. It'll be fun to watch, and I think everybody should just kind of grab some popcorn and just kind of sit back and see what happens.
For sure. And speaking of popcorn, that's a good segue into this next story. Uh, and I don't know if you did that intentionally, but I think just like real quickly to go back on what you're saying, I mean, I totally agree. At the rate at any kind of legislation that's going to come forward, and I think it applies not only to crypto, but technology in general. That the rules always play catch up to the advances in technology. I mean, when you had drones come, people using drones and all sorts of stuff. And I mean, I forget how long it was. It was definitely a few years before people had to have, they had to register a drone, whether or not you use it as a commercial venture or just a personal use. I think if it's above a certain size, you have to register with the FAA. And then I mean, in terms of autonomous cars, I think people don't know how to where the liability lies if you have some accidents. They're still hashing that out between the insurance companies and the regulators, and so it's just kind of par for the course, I think, when it comes to technology and the laws. And so before we move on, just want to welcome to more of our people stopping by. Welcome David, welcome Baba. If you guys want to come up, you have any stories you want to share or maybe chime in, that definitely would love to hear your voices and chime in. So anyway, so last week, we talked about this Bonnie and Clyde of crypto, and we figured, okay, there's going to probably be some kind of special, and because the story was just too wild for not. I mean, it was like a made-for-TV drama, and so if you guys missed the story last week, we talked about this couple from New York. They were caught laundering about $4 billion worth of Bitcoin, and the hack itself happened in 2016. And Nicole, we were mentioning about the transparency of Bitcoin transactions. Well, it turned out that they were using a lot of different wallets to try to launder this heist, if you will, because uh, it was about 100,000 Bitcoin that was stolen from the I forget the name of the exchange they used, but there's another story that I read this week that they were buying. It was a 500, something like as mundane as a Walmart gift card that was somehow tracked to this couple because a lot of them were identified to this particular address, and over time they were a little bit more careless, and so they were using their actual real names, because at the beginning a lot of these wallets that they didn't have any kind of use personal names or emails and anything like that, but they eventually were tracked to this couple. And as you guys remember, when we were talking about this, the woman, uh, and I forget her name, but she had a YouTube channel. She wrote on Forbes about things about how to protect people from uh, crypto fraud. It was just wild. And the very next day after we talked about it, we have the story about Netflix that's going to do a special on them. It was just a matter of time. So now I'm wondering who's going to play this couple. What do you guys think?
Oh, I don't know. I don't get excited about these ones anymore. So that Tiger series that came out did really, really well on Netflix. I didn't watch that one either. That's why I called it that. Um, but yeah, I think that it'll be something that maybe it'll be good. I don't know. They'll probably put it on top 10 because it's theirs, but it's too soon for me to do a movie. I want a movie like in a year or two when I forget about the story, like not right after. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have thoughts on this one too much.
I feel you, Nicole. I totally feel that too. I feel like it is a little bit too quick, and I see what Netflix is trying to do. They just are almost getting to the point of being a newscast. Like they're just trying to like switch it around real quick and produce a film and just take it out to the masses, right? I mean, just wait a little, right? And but like I mean, now if you look at what they got going is like what like that one socialite that was I think she went to jail because she was trying to get millions of dollars from the bank or whatever. They got the Tinder swindler or whatever, which I watched and I quite enjoyed. But like so much of that same a little bit kind of defrauding the system, defrauding individuals, and like and I appreciate it, but at the same time it's like okay, well just give us a little bit of gap here, like I mean the story was just released a few weeks ago, right? That that's on the sort of negative note, but on a positive note, I think that putting this sort of docu series or shows or movies or whatever, it is actually going to open up the eyes of the viewer, and like even if you don't know much about the crypto world or people are kind of are going to be a lot of the times now people would just kind of like go to Netflix and allow them to suggest something for them to watch, or they sort of just go with what's the hottest thing that people are watching. And so by default, it's gonna sort of allow people to watch and be exposed to all of this info. And I think it may be good, but it really depends on how they approach that series, right? So anyway, that's what I wanted to share.
Yeah, I'm not sure when the, the docu series is going to come out, but it was just shocking like how fast the news came out that they were thinking about it and they're actually going to do a series. Kurt, I'm sorry, yeah, I didn't mean to jump in front of you. What are your thoughts?
No, no, it's all right. I was just, I've been in and out so often, it's quite all right. I was wondering, it's because they're putting so much in the can so quickly because the cupboards are bare. They're putting so much content so quickly, and a lot of the stories are just running out of, so they have to take a good story like this and run with it. Stories I'm looking forward to seeing what happened with, like, say, Meta, what were the fights going on in the Zuck clan, who was fighting on the inside in there, that type of idea. And I think that Netflix is not being able to get access to these people because there's still too much at stake, and they have to grab the most least expensive, I guess, method of getting more audience, right?
Yeah, I think it's just maybe like them wanting to kind of be in the news, and then talk about Netflix, like just kind of jumping on this story, because whether it's a Netflix special, whether it's an Amazon Prime or Hulu or any of these other streaming services, that's where the eyeballs are, and so I mean, because Netflix is they've taken at least the stock prices taken quite a hit recently. I know they've announced to an increase in their membership, and Amazon they're increasing their membership too. I mean, inflation is another day and maybe another room in another club, but yeah, I think they are spending so much money putting out so much content. And Apple, Apple Plus, they have a lot of shows, and I mean, myself, I don't watch a whole lot of not even like streaming shows, but they're definitely. I mean, there's like a handful that I love. definitely, I think there is a pressure there to put out stuff. And this story itself, I think it's just the nature of the $4 billion. I mean, I think that's either the biggest or one of the biggest heists in crypto. Just the way that the characters, they call themselves the Crocodile of Wall Street. They've got a YouTube channel doing some raps about crypto. I mean, it was just like wild. It was like the tiger story. Like these are just outrageous
This camp,
characters, and it's hard to
it's really
believe.
helped me a lot
So,
because
but with that,
I'm trying to be I'm trying to get rich from the metaverse.
Mhm.
So this has really helped me. Peyton, be quiet. I'm trying to talk.
I didn't even say nothing. I didn't even say
I
nothing.
heard that. Yeah. So
Mr. Clean.
I want to learn how to build. Also, it's giving me it's helped me a lot with not liking to talk to people because yeah, when I first started I didn't talk at all, and now look at me telling Peyton to be quiet while I talk.
See, that's my house right there. You see
Boy.
that? You see that? Oh, you forgot? Move.
Yeah, that.
Right here.
Yeah, I forgot how.
Jump in here. Who was that? Who was that?
One day, we won't need this day. We won't need a day to celebrate how far we've come. We won't need a day to prove we're just as fast or strong or skilled. We won't need a day to relive the comebacks, the firsts, or the titles we've won. We won't need a day to rally behind the ones fighting to change the rules. One day, we won't need this day at all, because one day, this day, will be our everyday.
Hey guys, we'll get started here in a few.
Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, yeah. Welcome everybody. Thanks for coming to the room. We're gonna get started in just a minute. Got a couple more things to do. Trying to um, get. Yeah, if you guys can ping other people into the room who you know might want to hear about everything that's going on in the Web3 world. Yeah, definitely ping a couple of people. And thanks for coming by. And I just saw with the recent Clubhouse update, they have this new topics feature, which is kind of cool. I'm just getting familiar with it myself. Looks like you can tag different topics. So I'm just trying to couple out. But I'm going to just hold off on doing that for the moment. But just bear with us. We're going to get started any second. So thank you so. Right. Let's get going. Hey Nicole. Hey Marv. Good to see you guys again. It's been so long. How you been? Just kidding. Uh, Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Leo, Tony, Atul, Nisha, Kingsley, for coming in. We are in the Web 3.0 Club, and this is our weekly roundup with the news. It's the week in Web 3. It's our weekly gathering here. It's just a place for us to catch up on news and each other. It's kind of like a Web 3 happy hour with my family here. It's sponsored by our Web3 Club. It's a place for people to get together, learn about the next phase of the internet. I want you know, this place, we wanted to have a place so that you can share what you know, ask questions, and learn together. So if you haven't already joined the club, we host rooms like this um, every Friday afternoon. It's about 3 o'clock Eastern time here in the U.S. So I appreciate everybody for stopping in. And so we also try to have rooms throughout the week as well. At least one room about a Q&A, more of a content, um, learning type of room so you can get your questions answered. And so as we build out our community, if you guys are either experts in some of the topics that we talk about or want to know, just send me a message, send Nicole or Marv. We're constantly looking to add people to our team, so that you can host your own room, whether you want to talk about the blockchain, AI, artificial intelligence, VR, AR, all the different realities, DAOs, NFTs, a lot of stuff going on. And so, yeah, just definitely reach out and connect with us. And so, with that being said, and also, yeah, give Nicole and Marv and mods here a follow. I typically, sometimes I go back and forth in terms of like saying, hey, follow the mods, but a lot of times, especially in topics like this, when you follow people, it definitely affects your experience on Clubhouse, because you see the rooms that you see in your hallways are going to be a function of who you connect with. And so the people that you know resonate with you, that's the best way of experiencing Clubhouse. And shout out to my brother Dan. Dan, thanks for coming by. So with that being said, I'll introduce you if you don't know who I am. My name is Emmy. I'm an investor and business owner here in the DC area. I just love connecting with people here on Clubhouse, because I think it's the next phase in the internet. And so it's so exciting to see all the different tech that is going to come about with Web3. And so I want to have the space here for people to understand, how it's going to affect how we connect, how we find information, and how business can grow with it. And so with that said, I want to pass the mic to my fellow mods, Nicole, Marv, and Rico, and then you guys can introduce yourself, and then we can go ahead and get started with some of the news. Got a lot of stories this week, and thank you so much. So yeah, Nicole.
Hey guys, my name is Nicole Maxwell, and I am a tech enthusiast, techie nerd dork from birth, it seems like. Um, but I am heavily involved in this metaverse space, and as we're building out Web 3.0, the metaverse and Web 3.0 are synonymous, because the technology of Web 3.0 is what really makes the metaverse go. I am passionate about the decentralized blockchain. I am the owner of Technical Consulting, which specializes in helping individuals and businesses find their way through the metaverse and kind of explaining some of these concepts a little bit more easily so that you can be or remain technically savvy. Um, I am specializing currently in a meta mind shift. I am also the chief executive officer of the Black Metaverse. That is a club that began here on Clubhouse, but has turned into a movement. So I encourage everyone here to connect with everyone in this space. And if we go across topics that you don't know or understand, please go ahead and come on up to the stage. Let us know that, we skipped over something and you want it re explained. And then also, that means that you need to be connecting with people in this space so that you can be going into rooms that are talking about these topics because we want to make sure that you understand what is happening around you and the shift that's occurring. This is Nicole, and my voice is resting. Thank you, and welcome.
Thank you, Nicole, Amy, Rico, and Dan. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. So this is Marv, everyone. My bio it is in transformation status right now. As we speak, I'm actually changing it up. I have been a little bit lazy to change it up ever since I joined Clubhouse. So a few things have changed from that. But anyway, my background, I studied computer science many years ago, and I'm high enthusiast as well of the meta everything, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, domain brokerage. I mean, that I've just gotten into, and it's just a whole different ball game, and it's exciting. It's exciting to be here. It's exciting to be sharing the space and the stage with these fabulous and knowledgeable individuals. We are here to help. We're here to talk about the newest and latest and greatest developments of what is actually going on. And I think that when we have the opportunity to talk about whatever is happening, it really does help us not only become aware of what the possibilities are, but in a weird way, it can create opportunities not just for the speakers but also for everyone that is listening. So as what Amy indicated before, do become a member of the club, because I know we have been creating one room a week, but this is definitely going to change. I'm going to start creating a few more rooms in the weeks to come. And so please do follow it or become a member, and then you will be notified when those rooms open up. With that, I yield the mic over to Rico, and with that as well, I'm really happy. I got to tell you guys, not only because it's Friday and because Christmas is just around the corner, but I just ordered my Oculus. Yes, I just did before the
Wow. All
yay
right.
before. Yeah, I was actually gonna go for the. I think there's two different ones: the 125 gig and the 256, if I'm not mistaken. I was gonna go for the cheaper one just because it's like, oh, whatever, right? Like a newer version is gonna come out soon enough. Why should I bother with the larger, hard drive one? But there's nothing available for the cheaper one. So I'm stuck with the expensive one, and I'm intending to use it to its full capabilities. So, but what I was gonna say is that I'm really happy that I'm part of this group, and I'm part of this place that it's really gonna allow us to not only become more knowledgeable, but creating relations and creating community, which is at the end of the day what my intention is here. So I yield the mic to you, Rico, and pleasure to.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rico Jones. I am a brand consultant. I run a boutique ad agency. I also run a local incubator that was created to support underserved and unbanked startups in disenfranchised communities. But most importantly, I am a disciple of Nicole Maxwell. Thank you.
Hey Rico, I think we are all disciples of Nicole. So yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
Oh no, I think we scared her off. Oh, there she is back. Just kidding. We love Nicole. Thank you.
Absolutely. We love it.
I love you guys too. You guys are awesome. We have a good time in this room, and I've learned a lot from everybody here too. So definitely, you guys, you were in the right place to learn some things and catch up on what's been going on in Web3.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks so much, guys. And yeah, let's. I want to also hear from my bud Dan. Dan is one of my uh, OGs here on Clubhouse. Thanks for coming in the room, and love to just give want you to introduce yourself to the rest of the stage and the audience, and yeah, I'm gonna invite people in the audience to come on the stage too. If you guys want to share some stories or reflect on some of the stories that we're going to be talking about, definitely raise your hand, and would love to have you on stage. So with that said, Dan, love to hear from you, man. Thanks for coming by. How's it going? Happy.
Happy Friday, Emmy. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Um, what's up? I see Chris down there. Good to see you, Leo too. Nisha, and obviously Marv, Rico, Nicole. Good to meet you. Uh, Emmy. What's up, bro? I don't know. I just was I've been writing. I haven't been on the app much. I just needed I just I don't know. Sometimes you need to recharge. You hang out with your friends around Clubhouse, stuff like that. I mean, that's it. I just was popping in for a minute and see what's up. Just get some energy, some feedback, some whatever. But I'm just busy creating, uh, finishing this book. So it's gonna be a great book. It's a great book. That's it. I don't know what's going on. Hope you guys are doing great. I hope you're grateful you're alive. If you look in the mirror today and tell yourself that, if you didn't, go find one and do that. Somebody out there is waiting for you. They're not waiting for me. They're not waiting for Emmy and his amazing ness that he is over there in New York. They're waiting for you. So step up and go get it. That's it. This is Dan.
There you go, my man Dan. Thanks so much. Appreciate you so much. Appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. So yeah, well, thanks everybody. Again, this is our Web3 news roundup week. Again, we get together every Friday afternoon to catch up on the news and what's going on. And so yeah, got a lot of stories. So the first story that I want to talk about is this sale of a yacht in Sandbox. It's a record sale in the Sandbox universe. Last week we talked about the record land sale in the Decentraland universe, and that sold for $2.4 million. And I mean, it's just unbelievable, just kind of how fast things have gone, and how it's I stopped shaking my head in belief in terms of like what are we going to see next? So just bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to bring up that story and having trouble with the link. Just give me 1 second. But yeah, so this sale here, it's an NFT yacht. It's called the Meta Flower. I love the name. And so it's sold for $650,000. That's 149 ETH at the time. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Here you go. All right, just put the link here so you guys can check it out too. Yeah, I mean, this is I think we're just at the beginning. We'll see more and more sales. And so last week, we're talking about the Decentraland sale, and now we have Sandbox with their own record-breaking sale. This is a yacht. Um, it's called the Metaflower. Again, it sold for 149 ether, and yeah, they say it's an ultra luxury yacht. Features a DJ booth, a helipad, a hot tub, and so the asset was released by Republic Realm, another a metaverse developer. They call it the Fantasy Collection, and so if you don't know, Sandbox is a virtual world where you can build out your own experience, your own life. I mean, last month, Decentraland, again, that sale was $2.4 million. That sale was in the fashion district, and I think fashion is it's going to be a big industry that's going to be making some waves. And in fact, the next story that we have, it's related to that. But before then, there was another plot of land in Axie Infinity. That sold for 2.3 million. And I mean, I think these kind of deals just kind of showed like the momentum that it's just starting. And so that was one story. Another story that I saw was like I'd mentioned before last week, Adidas, sorry, the sporting wear company Adidas, they're making some big plays in the metaverse, and so this week they are partnering with the Bored Apes and CryptoPunks groups, and I'll post a link to that later. But again, it's just like another play that I think Adidas, just like Nike, and they want to make a push in the metaverse. And so another story that we're going to be talking about is well, if you don't know, this week was the art. There's an arts event. It's called what's Art Basel, that's right. It's down in Miami. That is the event this week. If you are in the NFT world, so that was going on. And then, lastly, before I just wanted to go through a couple of stories just to kind of start us off with. But Nicole and I were talking about this. Um, the next Matrix film. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the trilogy, and really more of just the original. I think the second and the third were kind of letdowns, but I am so pumped for this new movie. It's called the part four. It's called Resurrections. I can't even speak right on a Friday, and so they have this promotion where people were creating their own avatars in the Matrix, and that was so it was crazy because the site crashed. I think within an hour, and so I think Nicole was saying like somebody was selling them for how much was it, Nicole? It was like $1 million or something. It was just wild. And so
Oh,
so
so so the site came back up, and now and then they sold out of the remaining items, so there were only 100,000, so there was rarity created within the collection. However, right now, if you go to the site and you sort based on the available items out there, and you look at the most costly, it appears to be 99 million for one. There's actually a couple, probably a whole page that are upwards of that in that range. Not really sure what that's based on. That is in their currency though of DAI. I forget what the actual thing is, but it's the coin that's on the Palm network. So that's interesting. And it appears that the currency conversion is almost 1 to 1. So one die for one US dollar. Rico, somebody, y'all can check into that, verify me, tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm hoping I'm wrong. But yeah, this happened this week.
That just like I don't know about you guys, and maybe you guys can fill me in on this, but it really almost seems that they can just put whatever price they want on anything. Like, I mean, is it an auction, or is it just kind of like like I went to the website. It's a Nifty's, I think you're right. I'm not
Yep,
sure if it was.
nifties.com.
Yeah, it was on Nifty's. Okay, so did they actually, was it said as an auction, or was it just a fixed price? I don't know if it was an auction or a fixed price, but if it's a fixed price, like, I mean, it just almost seems like whatever price you set it, and that's where it goes, right?
So at first, they were $50 each. So during the NFT drop or during the open period, they were $50 each, and people have um, reposted their own and are that now have them for sale on what's called the aftermarket or the resale market, and they are available now. And yes, when you do that, you can set your own price. Now, whether or not these get purchased for this outrageously landish die price, that remains to be seen. It probably will because it's the Matrix and they're kind of cool. So I think this is an instance of FOMO, and if you weren't there, you missed out because uh, I know what that feels like because I actually am one of those people that missed out on this. Um, I didn't register in time, so my waiting number in line was 168,000, I think. And so I waited. There was a glitch going on, so I'm really interested to see how they handle the glitch that occurred with this. But I did not get to met my my avatar. I didn't get to make that purchase. So, what they are doing though is for everybody who experienced the delay, because like Emmy said, they shut down the site for a while. Everybody who experienced that delay, we're all supposed to be getting NFTs. There's supposed to be a glitched in the matrix NFT that goes out to everyone who wasn't able to actually get a avatar. So it's interesting. We'll see how this plays out. And for now, I'm just going to stick with the currency that I'm quoting is the DAI that is out there right now.
Yeah, I heard about that glitch. It reminded me of when Top Shots, NBA Top Shots first came out. The lines were crazy long. If I'm not mistaken, Top Shots might have been one of the first major sports conglomerates, being the NBA, to really get involved into the NFT space. And now we have the MLB through Candy.com. Now they've kind of entered the space, but those lines were crazy long. And a lot of times, they had a lot of glitches as well. So I think this might just be something where hopefully, because I heard about the glitch, but I had a friend of mine that actually was able to get in, but he was way long at the end of the line, but he was able to actually access the actual Matrix NFT. And then I missed the Spider-Man NFT that they did through AMC, which I was really upset because I thought I had the right AMC membership, but lo and behold, I didn't. So that was disappointing. But yeah, I totally feel you on.
Wow. Wow. So yeah, guys, a lot crazy stuff out this week. What I mean, Nisha, welcome to the stage. Omid, I hope I didn't mess up your name too bad. Welcome to the stage. Did you guys have any thoughts about either one of those or any one of those stories? That the yacht sale, the Art Basel, the Matrix NFT, or the Adidas partnership, anything. And there's still a bunch of others that we can talk about. But welcome to the stage, and welcome AR, my man. Thanks for coming to the stage, and welcome everybody in the audience. Thanks for coming in. We're talking about news in the Web3 this week.
Emmy, thanks for
I will
having
add.
me. Sorry, I was just going to say, Emmy, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And I work in blockchain, and so part of the Web 3.0 movement, kind of work at the intersection between energy and blockchain and decentralized energy marketplaces. So everything around the metaverse really fascinates me. And Nicole, I was kind of like you. I was in line to try and get my avatar sort of minted in the Matrix, and I was I think number 300,000 whatever, so I didn't expect to get it, but it was still fun while it lasted. And what I loved about the collection is that you could either pay in crypto or you could pay in fiat with your credit card, which I think is very important because there are just so many people that still haven't really dipped their toes into the metaverse and to even cryptocurrency. And so I found this kind of really monumental that they allowed for people to pay in either, right? And utilize credit cards if they're not part of, the crypto universe. So I really love that part of it. And it's interesting about the Adidas news because, again, everyone who's been to Nike World, myself included, have been inspired by how well that's been created. So I'm curious to see how Adidas kind of goes forward. I wanted to also mention the news that came out recently about DAOs. So Badger DAO just recently just got hacked, and $120 million got stolen, and it got stolen via I think the Cloudflare API. So they did a very simple hack to, again, the that Web 2.0 system that was using to host Web 3.0 on, and it's just really interesting.
Wow, man, I didn't hear about the. I'm sorry. Go
Oh
go
no,
ahead.
no, no! I was just saying that's such a good point. I did read about this one, and it's just the little pun you put in there that it is the Web 2.0 stuff that caused this to happen. It's true, and we are hosting still on these technologies in a lot of instances. But I also want to say that on the Matrix avatar NFT, what they did do have the capability for both fiat and cryptocurrency, but they're not really the first to do that. Like I know that we are hosting Masterminds of Hip Hop, and their drop, which is a drop from Russell Simmons, their drop also does that. It's through a site called Pay Baby. There's a couple others in the space, and so it's interesting that their projects get kind of seen with a little bit of angst from certain folks because they're not fully decentralized, so they don't seem to be fully adopting to the culture. But then the Matrix comes through, and of course it's just fine. I wonder if that's because it's Matrix, or if it's possible that it's because it's on Nifty's or some other factor. But yeah, I would wager that it's probably because it's the Matrix. Because yeah, what's up, Journal?
Yeah, I agree, Nicole. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Nicole. The Matrix has a fan base. They have a community, and I think you've always done a great job explaining the power of community through Discord and other platforms, as far as making sure that if you're creating a platform or whatever you have, to make sure that you have a sound community behind it. We see that with Bored Apes, and the community is just absolutely crazy. I think to add to the Adidas partnership, what I enjoy is seeing now things that we've noticed over the years in crypto with these partnerships. When you have cryptocurrencies that are doing partnerships with like companies like Visa and Mastercard, even like with Crypto.com, with the partnership they have with Staples Center, as well as with the 76ers. Now you're starting to see NFT projects develop these sound partnerships, and I think that's just the beginning. So this is really exciting.
And I just want to chime in real quick here, guys. And I know that I'm gonna perhaps maybe deviating a little bit from the topic, but not really. And I'm gonna put a question out there for you guys. Say, for example, and it's gonna deal with domains. So my apologies for that. But say, for example, you have like a domain with the Adidas name in it. Like, since let's say, I don't know, let's say adidasnft.com or something like that. Is that allowed? Is that because of the name Adidas is copyrighted and everything? It's reserved, patent, trademark, and everything. Is that because it's part of the web though? I mean, the name, the domain, is that something that is permitted or not? And I'm just putting that question out there. If you guys can answer, awesome. If you can't, then that's cool as well.
I'll say this, that if you put up a website that was something to do with soccer and dreaming about it all day, that maybe you would not have that association, or maybe you might. But yeah, um, I'm just saying that you can alternatively use it. So that's possible. So like, don't go put up apparel or tennis shoes, and maybe you'll be okay. But yeah, that's a problem.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a good point.
that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
what you don't want to do is you don't want to infringe on a company's intellectual property. So Nicole gave a great example. I'll add another example. For example, we know Google's parent company is Alphabet. We also know that Apple is one of the largest companies uh, you know in the world. Now, if I wanted to start a daycare center called Alphabet Daycare, I'm fine. Because Alphabet is a dictionary word, I'm not infringing on the intellectual property with their name. The same thing with Apple. If I'm starting an orchid where I have an apple orchid, and I'm serving apple, some type of apple juice or applesauce, whatever, I'm fine. But when you have names that are brandable, you have to be very careful. Like, it's going to be hard to get away with Google, right? It's going to be hard to get away with Twitter. It's going to be hard to get away with certain names that are brandable names, and those trademarks are, you just can't disconnect those trademarks from their actual identity nor from their intellectual property. So you have to make sure you just use sound judgment and make sure that you just really, understand that a lot of these companies do have intellectual properties. They are trademarked and some are service marked as well. So you just have to be very, very careful and just make sure that you're not purposely also. What I do appreciate is companies like Unstoppable Domains. They did a really good job when they launched their platform, where they, tried to secure as many corporations that were trademarked as possible, because they knew that sometimes there will be some people that just want to register, companies' names and try to sell them or flip them. So they did a really good job securing those. That's why sometimes when you go to their platform and try to look for certain names, it'll say protected, because they know that, they want to make sure they're protecting other companies' intellectual property.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. I be right back. I'm gonna go and cancel that domain I was about to buy. I'm just kidding.
We know.
All right, man. No,
Yeah.
I agree with. I mean, Rico is spot on. I mean, and I'm not an attorney, but I was talking to an attorney, and when he was telling me is exactly what Rico was saying. Like, if you have domains or any kind of, let's say you had an NFT project that had a dictionary word, like you're not going to confuse, Apple Daycare with Apple Computers. But of the brand in particular, I mean, let's look at Disney. Disney is a huge company, and they have a large army of attorneys that will come down hard on any kind of infringing on the trademark name. And so, like, it's you would just, I would consult with an attorney in that matters. And thank you, Nisha, for coming on stage. Thank you so much. And RR, thanks for coming by, man. And Omid, thank you for coming up too. I just wanted to give the mic to AR to introduce himself to the community. Thank you for coming by. But everyone here is just so brilliant, and like I'm always humbled by like everyone's expertise here, because I don't have any technical expertise. I just love the world of tech, and just fascinated by where we're going here with the web. And so anytime we have people that can, share their knowledge, I'm just so immensely grateful. And so thank you for being here, AR. I'd love to get your thoughts on, I don't know if you've had a chance to hear some of the stories we were talking about earlier, but we were, discussing the Matrix NFT because of the news coming out, that the sale of this NFT yacht in Sandbox, and then we're talking about Adidas. They're continuing to push further into the metaverse, and then I don't know if I even mentioned Twitter's news. Then they're apparently they're following in the footsteps of Facebook, changing their name. But anyway, AR, thanks for coming.
Hey, appreciate that. Yeah. Actually, I invited up RR. No, no relation, but basically, there was a topic that was brought up around the DAO, and I wanted to really speak on that point. One of the things I've been focused on, having been a victim of a cybercrime, as I call it. I think cybersecurity stepping into 2022 is really going to be an ongoing topic. I specifically brought up because he's really engulfed into that world of developing smart contracts and different types of products along the blockchain. So I don't know if it's okay that we kind of circle the conversation maybe back to that part, because I didn't want that rug pull to like go overlooked. I know it tends to be commonplace, but long term, man, like it shouldn't be a way of life, though. You know what I mean? Especially with more and more people that we're hoping that are going to adopt crypto, right, as a way of carrying value in their lives, right? So With that being said, would I be able to just ask RR, would you be able to speak a little bit in terms of like smart contracts and vulnerabilities and kind of like what's that whole landscape like? Like, can you give me a feel for that? Like, how come all these rug pulls are happening? How come you know, yeah, people are DAOs are losing like 200 million, like it's nothing.
Yeah, for sure. RR, I love whenever he's on stage because he is a definitely awesome person to connect with. I mean, like there, just because there's so much going around. I mean, with this, the rise of NFTs and crypto in general, it kind of attracts a certain element where people don't know any better, and so they just are easily or they're susceptible to these kind of scams. And Anisha had mentioned the Badger DAO situation, but yeah, RR would love to hear from you if you can share.
Yeah, so I'll kind of give you guys a quick rundown. I'm kind of doing something else right now, but basically what I want to say is like this technology is kind of new, right? So everybody's kind of new. So while people are building new applications, right? Some people um, actually understand the fundamentals while other people don't, right? So it's like you really gotta figure out when you're um, putting your money into a project, right? The development team, right? Are they experienced or are they kind of just winging it, right? So a lot of these projects, they kind of just wing it, but then we don't know that. So then we put our money into it and then it gets hacked. And then it's like, oh man, yeah, there was a vulnerability and their smart contract got attacked. Or I think somebody brought up Cloudflare, which is on Web 2.0. So it's just like, there's certain practices that these companies should be kind of taking when they're developing things, and then some of them they don't, right? So that's kind of the thing. It's just before you invest, just make sure that the development team is kind of sound, so that you don't lose your money. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, and that's crazy because I mean, how I don't know any. Well, so I know developers, but not like let's say the everyday collector or newbie stepping in. So again, that's why I'm really like looking at that, and that's why I think over the next 6 to 12 months that's going to really be something imperative that people might even want to start asking for, right? Like, has um, your respective smart contract, been validated, right? Has it been tested? Has it been audited? Things like that. Um, I don't know though. I just think that personally, people don't step into this with, you know, people don't step into these, sort of these sorts of digital, tracks to. I mean, it's a lot of risk, right? Like people don't just step into that thinking that, well, I'm a part of this DAO, and it has a lot of visibility and the whole nine, and yeah, there's a lot of money pooled in there. You, I don't know. It's almost like intuitively people would think that that money is secure in some way, and it isn't. And I don't know. It's just got me just really putting a brand new set of lens as to where I'm directing my funds, and yeah, to your point, start asking those deeper questions around the developers, their history. You know, the everyday person doesn't even know how to really dig into that. So yeah, I just hope long term that we begin to start maybe opening up rooms around that sort of thing. Because yeah, I do see security just being something that eventually, um, when we're in the billions of dollars being taken, like 200 million just disappeared, right? Um, yeah, it has to start becoming more of a bothersome issue for collectors and people alike.
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
definitely think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, I think that I always tell people this: you need to continue to practice good internet security. Just kind of be mindful of what you're doing. Whenever you have transactions, make sure that you're reading what you're signing, make sure that it looks like what it's supposed to. If you're not expecting a transaction, check with the project itself to see did they airdrop you something, or, kind of where that thing came from. Don't just accept yes because it's cool or you got something. To kind of be leery about things. And then with this one in specific, their users actually were complaining about additional permission requests from the platform. So again, follow your gut, be mindful of what you're doing. These there are tells out there. Look at your URLs, which is your domain address that you're going to. Don't click on random links. If you are in Discord, don't click on links from back end servers. Don't click on links to go into random Discord servers. Just be mindful that people are out there and they realize there's a whole lot of money, and people are using the word decentralized and immutable, and putting that in conjunction with your money, and they're out to get it. So just be aware and be vigilant. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Yeah, and I'm sorry, AR. This is um, like 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 Nicole said, and this is for everybody too. It's always a good idea just to kind of give a pause, because like with all this FOMO going around, and people are when you see people making thousands, millions of dollars with in the NFT space, or anything crypto related, you get that feeling like, okay, I'm missing out. But just be careful. That's the best advice, is just not to know who you're dealing with. I mean, when in terms of like clicking on email links and stuff like that. I'm not a security expert, but you're right about having these kind of conversations as well, because it's easy to get kind of caught up uh, um, in the hype. And so, yeah, that's all I'll say, really, because I want to give others a chance to speak. Thank you, Vahid, for coming up stage. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you, diverse female. Thank you for coming up. And Loretta, I'm sorry, I don't if I messed up your name. Thank you for coming in the room. It's good to see you. You guys, always is nice to see familiar faces and friends in our rooms. We're Again, this is our Web3 weekly roundup room. We host this on Friday afternoons, and it's Friday afternoons for me. I'm on the East Coast in the U.S. I mean, people are connecting with us from all over, so I appreciate everyone from being here. Did you guys have any thoughts on the stories we've mentioned so far?
I had a question whenever it gets to me.
Okay, yeah. Let me. I want to give a chance for Omid to speak. I see you muted, so yeah, go ahead.
I appreciate it. I just got a quick question. How serious is this .eth URL, and how important is it for companies to get in?
Yeah, go ahead, Nicole. You're the .eth domains.
So
I was about to say, as long as Nicole is here, nobody can say nothing on domains.
Hey,
Nicole, go ahead.
that's Chinese right there. Keep it going.
It's blockchain domain. So yeah, give them a rundown, Nicole. I like to listen to.
Got you. 20. Amid .eth domains are something that you can purchase. It's an option just like any other kind of domain. The benefit behind that is that they are Ethereum uh, name server domains. Um, the main thing, the reason why, well, there's a couple different things. So one, it gives you kind of an identity on the .eth blockchain. You can also add it to your wallet, so it's easier to allow people to send you money or to send you transactions directly to that wallet. It replaces the long hash for your wallet address. But the reason it's getting a whole lot of interest lately is because it is now a DAO, and that is a decentralized autonomous organization. It's an organization that that is run by its community and allows community members the right to vote on certain things. That community actually awarded everybody with a .eth address or a .eth domain that they had purchased before October 31st. They rewarded them with crypto. And so a bunch of people, including several folks I know in the audience, woke up to crypto in their wallets as a reward for being members of this DAO. So again, you would have had to have been a member on October 31st. They do say that they intend to do this in the future. However, it's not promised or nor guaranteed as far as I'm aware. So, when you're thinking about business decisions or you're thinking about individual decisions, I myself will never be the one to provide you any kind of financial guidance. So I have provided you with an education of what a .eth address is. You can find them at ens.domains. Um, and that is the Ethereum name service. Okay. So anybody else can tap into that.
Yeah, I'd like to add something on it. Omijan, what you should do is you should get your own company or brand or personal use, secure that. But as far as investment, just remember it may not resolve in all others. So for investment purposes, maybe it may not be the first choice for a lot of domainers or investors, but it is definitely profitable for a lot of people that got in at early stages and did that. So you can also look at Handshake. So that's another one that's very similar to that. There's a few other companies that have brought the same protocol. But was there a specific reason why you were looking? Was it for personal use or going into an investing?
It was more personal, a little bit investing. I didn't really care about the investment part. I'm not trying to make money off of it, but I just noticed Budweiser USA changed their Twitter name to beer.eth.
No,
So
you
I'm
should go secure all your personal, all your future brands. Buy those, secure it. That's like, there's like 5 to 7 other protocols that are similar to that, and I've secured those for my, startups, whatever. Secure that for sure.
Yeah, so for example, I'm in the furniture business. So I was thinking everybody in the furniture business is very behind on this stuff. We're dinosaurs. So I was just thinking about buying all the furniture names, including my competitors, like for example, exclusive furniture or home
Well,
furniture or
don't mention the
whatever
names.
.et.
Don't mention the names here, but definitely, yeah, I think it's good. But keep in mind, Omijan, do you think they will use that more than a regular domain name? If they're behind with the technology, it's a little bit of a learning curve.
No, we're definitely not going to be using it today or tomorrow. I'm thinking something. This is something that more and more people like me, that the mass population is going to start hearing about in 2022. So I was
Secure
just
it
thinking about, for
ASAP.
example, just securing just
Secure it, but don't go crazy on it because they are not cheap to mint and everything else. And there's another protocol, unstoppable domains. But you know, my challenge with these domain names, blockchain domain names, we don't want to go into the rabbit hole, but there are going to be some clashes with other protocols, right? So it's a little bit, but yeah, no, secure those basic ones, but don't go crazy on it.
And then also, can you buy it with your? Can you just do a wire transfer, or do you have to first have an ETH account?
No, those are blockchains, so I will connect your MetaMask wallet and everything else. But once you transfer the fiat money into your wallet or from Coinbase and everything else, obviously those are tax deduction um, activities because you're buying it for your business.
And
So yeah,
not
you
going
can
to
do that.
give out financial advice on the stage, right?
We are not giving financial advice, even though I am licensed in California to do so, but I'm not on this stage. Correct.
Cool. Okay, so then the other thing you're going to want to consider, because it doesn't sound like you have that knowledge right now, before you transact at all, please get with somebody to understand the how-tos behind your wallet, um, and so that you can get properly onboarded to this space. Also, you can do that, watch a YouTube video. It won't be that hard, but if you need help, you can reach out to me. There's a couple other people who can help you with that. But don't just start willy nilly, and don't get somebody that you don't trust, because they can do things like say, "Hey, send me all of your what are we calling those? Your seed phrase. Send that over to me." And that's a thing you will never, ever, never, 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 ever want to do with anybody ever. You keep that close, like you keep it your social security number and your PIN number to your bank.
100%.
Can you repeat that? What number?
It's a seed number, passphrase, passcode, password, pass all of that. Do not ever give that out to anybody, ever. The only thing you should be able to give out is your wallet address.
Do you guys not see this
Never,
becoming a
ever,
Public wallet
ever,
address.
ever,
Ever,
ever
ever,
give
ever.
that away.
100%, 100%. Yeah, homie, just reach back to Nicole. Nicole is the best in the space. I learned so much from her, so definitely reach back. Nicole, be nice. He's Persian, okay? Be nice, Nicole, to the Persian community. You know, just go easy on her,
I'm
Nicole.
nice to everybody. And so,
I
V,
appreciate
we're
it.
up to at least 90 ETH right now.
Awesome. Keep it up.
So it sounds like I need to start buying right now. Forget learning. You just need to buy whatever .eth is
No,
necessary. That's what
I
I got
hope
off the
that was
stage.
no.
heard. You're
There's
gonna
so
be
many names that are still
let me
available.
let me back you up a second too. So when you transact in Ethereum, there's something called a gas fee. That is your toll for part for partaking in the Ethereum blockchain. Right now, those fees are extremely high. You may be able to find a pocket, a window of your day where that fee is not high, but you are still likely going to pay way more for gas than you are paying for that domain. Hope
I
that
did
makes sense.
I did
Okay,
notice that today. I think it was like 99 cents or something, and the gas fee was like $120.
there you go. So welcome to Ethereum and welcome to the Ethereum
Homie,
blockchain. There are other
which state
blockchains.
are you in?
Hang
Which
on,
state
I'm
are you in?
Vahid, hang on. There are other blockchains that are not going to treat you that way. So, there's something to consider. I don't know what your situation is and how much you're willing to just kind of toss around funds for gas, but you can do that. But there are other ways.
So that's where it gets kind of tricky. I firmly do believe Ethereum is not going anywhere. So I do want to invest a little bit of money in Ethereum. But I've noticed is like dot sol and dot whatever else is out there. Are those just as important? You think? I know I personally feel like Ethereum is the most important today, but I think the gas fees, if those don't go anywhere and somebody else has a cheaper gas fee like Sol, I feel like that's going to overtake Ethereum one day. Obviously, nobody knows.
Yep. So some people are bullish on Solana, others are bullish on Tezos, others are bullish on Ethereum. So it really just depends on you and your risk tolerance and your financial kind of profile, how you want to move through this blockchain. It's definitely up to you. And the blockchain gives you nothing but a whole bunch of choices to plot your own future. So please enjoy that, enjoy your research, and go out and
So,
have fun.
so do you think it's wise for a rookie to buy their name on all platforms or their top 5 platforms? Is that wise, or are people just sticking to one?
Yeah, so that's not the factor. It's not whether or not you're a rookie. It's whether or not you want it and whether or not you can afford it, and then whether or not you're going to purpose it. So with all domains, like Vahid kind of said this, um, there are a lot of different domains that you can go out and purchase. Um, if you wanted to right now, and without even talking about the decentralized domains, there are over 1,500 TLDs that you could go purchase your own name in if you were, feeling so inclined to do so. Uh, does that mean all of them are great? Absolutely not. So it definitely depends. I don't think that the blockchain domains are different from the centralized space in that you have ones that are extremely viable for your use case. So, is there going to be one that's like a .com? I think that's too early to tell right now, but there are certainly ones that make sense for whatever it is you are particularly trying to do so. And I think that's a bigger conversation than this stage. So I hope that you've been served.
I really.
I have one more thing I'd like to mention. Hi, my name is Max.
Hey, Max.
So, hi, how are you? So, unstoppable domains. Nicole is definitely correct about the gas fees for the .eth. But if you go to unstoppable domains, they recently changed the gas fees from ETH to Polygon. So they really basically free right now, the gas. So if you're looking for your crypto, your bitcoin, your DAO, any of those names right now, you could go to Unstoppable and purchase it first you got to purchase it, and then when you mint it, the gas fees are free because they're using the Polygon network right now, and Unstoppable is paying for it. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Right, that's very true. He specifically asked about .eth. That's why we had that whole conversation. But you are absolutely right. There are other options, and that's kind of what I was getting to. There are lots of other options out there. All the ones on Unstoppable. The main thing, I'm gonna mute you. The main thing about those is that they are free forever. So regardless of fees, which now their fees are very attractive, but regardless of fees. Those domains are perpetual. They are yours forever until you decide to transact them to somebody else. So that's their differentiator from all of the other blockchains. So each of them has something that's a little special. Solana, it's the technology that's behind the Solana blockchain. And with Tez, it seems to be the community. But there are different things about all of them that you can, that's why I said go dive in, do your research, and then make the best decision for you about which TLD works and which ones work, because it doesn't mean you just have to have one. So I think we have exhausted domains.
Last
We
question, Nicole.
always
Last
get it.
question
No,
before I
no,
get off.
we're gonna go ahead and keep moving because we always do this. I don't want to drag down the room
Final
with domain
question.
talk.
Final question. If money was not a factor for you, would you be buying as much .eth as possible?
No, if money was not a factor, I would get every single unstoppable domain that I could, because they are mine forever, and I'm all about ownership. While I do appreciate a stake in a DAO, uh, I don't like the idea of having to renew. So for me, it makes more sense to do it the other way.
Love that answer. Love it.
That's what we got Nicole here. So thanks so much, Omid. And yeah, just wanted to just like Nicole said, we can talk about domainings and keep on going. But our room is about just going over some of the other news or the news of the week for the Web3 world. And so we were talking about blockchain, and so it's a good prompt for me to go over this news about Twitter now, because as you guys recall, last month or a couple of weeks, maybe it's been more than a month, Facebook changed their name to Meta. They want to make a big play into the metaverse, be known for that. And so now we see this week that Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, has he quit. He quit Twitter, and now he's going to focus on his other startup, Stripe, and he's going to Square, sorry, and he's changing it to Block. And so it's just kind of the comes off the heels of a couple of weeks back when we were talking about Twitter and their formation of this crypto group of just who's only going to focus on the blockchain. And so now we have them officially changing their name to Block. I know this is, I mean, the blockchain is going to be one of the key pieces behind Web3. A lot of the websites that we're going to see are going to be based on the blockchain. And I think one of the things I had read is that, and it kind of has to, it's related to ENS, and what, domains is that, I think most websites are going to be tied to a particular wallet. And so when your identity and any transaction you have, it's going to be all on the blockchain. And so now that we see officially Square being known as a block, what other companies do you guys see that might kind of make a bigger play into it? And so I'll open up the floor and get anybody's thoughts. I'd love to hear what you guys.
Amy, hi, Loretta here. I'm from Singapore. Can you repeat your?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Hi, Loretta. How are you? It's good to see you. Let me.
I'm
Give me 1
fine.
second. So the story that I posted was about the changing a name of Jack Dorsey's company Square. It's now going to be known as Block. It kind of reminds me of the Facebook changing their name to Meta. And so with this change and rebranding, if you will, it's them wanting to be known as in the blockchain world. I mean, they want to expand beyond their credit card reading business. And I mean, Twitter and when they started, I'm sorry, when they started Square, this was back in 2009, and they were just focusing on making it easier for small businesses to accept credit cards, and then they are expanding into letting people accept Bitcoin, and now they, with this branding of just the company from Square to Block, it's just kind of taken it further in that direction. And so I wanted to see if anybody, what you guys think about this change, and if you can see other companies making this change as well.
I think it really is putting a lot of the, I would say, legacy companies. Was it correct to say, Emmy, these are legacy companies, and just trying to, evolve themselves into, the metaverse or Web3 or whatever you want to call it. But you know, I'm from Asia, and I'm seeing all the great, developments happening in the US, and that's also bringing me back to, should I be also changing my company name to make it more sexy and more current, to the Web3? So I've been running a business here for 20 years. Um, legacy business. I would say legacy business, promoting live events, um, concerts, comedy shows, and this whole, blockchain is making me look through back my vault of work, and it's making me think, uh, to should I even go into that route? What all these big companies are doing to how to reinvent. Is it correct to say it's reinventing themselves?
Yeah, I think it's that would be accurate. Or I mean, because I forget that Google, they changed their name to Alphabet, and I still think of them as Google. And when Facebook changed their name to Meta, I still think of them as Facebook. It doesn't have that same, like for me, Facebook's change was more of just a PR move, in my opinion, because it's like when, I forget when it was, but in the US, we had a big tobacco company called Philip Morris. They changed their name to Altria, which, it's just like a generic name, and I think it came after they were handed a huge fine. I forget how many millions or billions of dollars it was at the time. It was like the highest um, penalty ever levied on a company, and so they made the change to Altria, and kind of to move away from that name. And so with Facebook going to Meta, that came after the whistleblower and the testimony there. And so I think that no matter what, I don't think they're going to be able to kind of get away from that because of all the baggage. No matter how much it is, they want to say, okay, we're Meta, and so on. But I don't have that same kind of impression with this move that Square is doing, and when with what with this change. But I think you think of Microsoft. Maybe they're another legacy tech company. Are they going to change their name because they have such a wide they own LinkedIn. They just they have I mean, they bought out Skype, and so it's just interesting to me to see kind of how they're gonna what they're gonna do. They partnered with Facebook after they made that change, and so now they have you'll have these kind of Zooms. I mean, not Zooms. They own Teams. Microsoft Teams, and I'm because right now the user interface is very clunky. So I wondered, what how that changes the whole space. But with that, before we go on, I just want to give a shout out to everyone else in the audience. Thank you so much for coming by. We have so many people and just a wide audience here. I love seeing everyone's. If you guys have any thoughts on the stories, raise your hands. Come up. This is our Web3 club. We are going over some of the news this week. We mentioned the sale of the record NFT sale of a yacht over on Sandbox. We had mentioned the move of Adidas into the metaverse. They're making more plays every week. We've been talking about Adidas. There's the Art Basel, Basel. I'm not sure how to say it. Down in Miami, they want to be the crypto hub in the U.S. And so thank you so much for being there. And Carmelo, thanks for coming up on stage. And Weeb and Bolt and Jack, I see Carmelo. I see your avatar. Did you? Is that one of the NFTs that were
Yes.
from the Matrix?
Yeah,
Awesome. I
the
saw that because I
Nifty's
see
Matrix
everyone.
drop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And yeah, and I see greater than equal. It looks like you have one of those as well. Congratulations, because we were just talking about some of the right now they were sold out quickly. The site broke. I think they were able to relaunch. I saw it now. Some
It
of the
took 2 days. The site, they were letting people in slowly, so they'd go for a few, I don't know, an hour or so, whatever. Then they would actually pause the line, and basically it wasn't able to scale. You figure everybody's NFT drops or avatar drops are usually like 10,000 or somewhere around that. They wanted to do 100,000 at one sitting, and I was in the queue at 12:30 on the release date. I didn't complete my avatar purchase until let me see. So figure 12:30 on, I don't remember what day. I figure, let's say Tuesday. I didn't clear the purchase until Wednesday night at about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Figure that span of time. So basically midday, 24 hours plus another 12 to 13, 14 hours before I was able to complete it. But it was an interesting process the way they did it. It's I do like that in a couple of weeks they're going to be dropping the red and blue pills. So if you have an avatar, you can decide if it's going to pick, if it's going to take the red or the blue. And I'm guessing once that happens, if you take the red pill, then possibly afterwards it changes your outfit, so you're now in the Matrix garb and stuff like that. And they have other things coming. So yeah, it's my first purchase in terms of, I've been doing crypto, in and out of Bitcoin and a bunch of other altcoins, doing a little trading. This is my first NFT purchase, and I picked up 5 of them.
Wow, well, cool. Well, thanks for coming on stage and letting us know and you telling us about the experience because, I mean, Nicole and I were talking about it, and at the site, some of the most expensive one apparently is, I think yeah, I see
I think they have it
99.
at about 99 million.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, the 99 number 9772. Okay.
I do, but I do. I'm sorry, not to cut you off, and I don't want to hijack the table, the stage. I just want to make a quick comment. Like, I find it interesting that it technically how easy it is to set the floor on these items, because there's always somebody in the chat that'll say, hey, everybody, set the price at 100,000, that way we make it the $100,000 floor. And you never get full cooperation. There's always somebody who wants to just flip it for twice the price, and a bunch of lower price. I think the floor right now is 175. But consider the fact that if you can actually get everybody to do that, we could bump the price to 100,000 if we can just get everyone to agree and follow along with that. And it's a lot of people and difficult to do, but very possible, though not probable. Yeah, that's all I want to say. I'll yield right now. I do want to come back and make some comments about the name changes, but I want to let you you know do what else you want to do on your stage.
Yeah, so it's interesting because especially with a place where we talk about decentralized spaces, but we all kind of centralize in Discord to do these NFT
Good
drops.
point.
Um, and Discord is a way to kind of foster that sentiment. But even with Discord, you don't usually get everybody. Like usually everybody's not a member of Discord. There's always somebody who just doesn't do it or doesn't want to or doesn't know how. And so um Discord though is has really come up with this NFT space. Discord started out as a gaming app, and it evolved into kind of the coding world. So we used it to kind of learn how to code, share code, get some code reviews, kind of off the cuff there, get help with challenging code or whatever. And so there's technology lived there before NFTs got there. And so it's interesting. You know, Discord has its challenges, but I love seeing how it plays a role in all of the stuff that we talk about, regardless of whether it's direct or indirect. But I do also want to go back to the name change. So I think that it's important to know that block is not only just blockchain. There's an article that talks about how the change started last year. And that's when they kind of started thinking about it. And when they were thinking about it, it was really about changing it to block, because a square is also a block and it's a 3D block. And that's what they were thinking. But now it kind of makes more sense to really go with the flow and do the blockchain block, especially as they're doing crypto.
I saw somewhere on Twitter today, and I hope I got this quote right. It said a square. I can't. I think either upgraded or stood up is a block. So you figure a flat square, and if it upgrades or grows up, and you just pull it up, it can grow into the actual block square, the 3 dimensional. And I like that the way they played on, that play on the visual.
Yeah, it's a nice play on words, and it's clever. You know, I mean, I'm wondering, okay, so who's going to be who's going to change the name to Cube then? But anyway,
right.
But no, it's just fascinating to see like how much further things are in terms of crypto being more into the mainstream. And I mean, you have a big corporation like Twitter, where their CEO is decided, okay, I'm gonna take a step back, hand the reins over to a different CEO, and just focus my energy on my other company, Square. And just like, because I mean, he had changed his Twitter profile to Bitcoin, and just really just over time, dropping hints, and not really hints. I mean, it's just like letting people know that he is totally into the crypto space. And so now this is just kind of another step in that.
For that reason, I actually feel better about, well, not to say better, it doesn't matter, but I appreciate the name change because it's Michael, as opposed to me appreciating the meta name change because it's Zuckerberg, and I'll explain why. Saylor has been very pro crypto. He's very vocal about it. So I feel like we feel that he knows and has done his homework and is a member of this community. Whereas I feel Zuckerberg, and maybe it's just because of disdain for Facebook, it might be no other reason, but I feel like the meta name change is actually a negative thing. I feel like it's going to actually hijack. I can't remember what room I was in recently where somebody was like, hey, Zuckerberg making this name change, in 50, 60 years, kids are going to think, they're going to be like, oh man, that Facebook, that Zuckerberg created this incredible metaverse thing. Meanwhile, it's been happening for years. And he's just coming in and hijacking it because he has the platform to just say, hey, I'm gonna change it to this. There are people who are going to always be ignorant in this space, who are going to think that this was his child because of the name change. And I don't like the way he's hijacked the word meta as it refers to the crypto metaverse space. But that's neither here nor there.
Welcome to that party.
And by the way, Nicole.
Oh, go ahead.
I said, whenever you're in a room, if I can get in there, I jump in there because I love the way you explain things. So just to take a moment and give you your flowers.
Well, thank you. I'm over here blushing.
You're
It has
welcome.
been a good day today for that. I appreciate all of you guys.
Amen. Now do y'all understand why I said I'm a Nicole disciple?
We're gonna create a following of Nicole. We're gonna create a club of followers.
For sure, guys. Yeah, and everyone in the audience, if you guys haven't already, definitely tap in with Nicole and join the club if if you haven't already too. So that way you know when we have rooms like this, like our news roundup rooms. But again, yeah, it's just I appreciate you so much, Nicole, for all your expertise and just the willingness and the ability to share and explain things in a way that I can understand. Because I am always telling people, tell me like I'm 5 years old, just because it's especially when it comes to tech and how how the metaverse works, what you can do, what you can't do, and things like that, and also just to kind of go echo what Carmelo was saying. I definitely feel like Facebook's change is like them co-opting the metaverse space, because here they are, they're a giant corporation. They 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 have a lot of issues, right? And so we're not going to kind of beat around the bush here. They have a lot of issues, and so for them to kind of take the mantle of Meta and just I think it just doesn't pass the smell test. And so I'm glad that we weren't the only ones who were kind of feeling that way when they made that news.
Hey, so I wanted to make a point. So the Winklevoss twins, because their relationship with the whole Facebook organization, they recently announced that they're developing some type of metaverse. They already got like $400 million of money that they raised to kind of combat that, because I think a lot of people feel the same way, like the room, that it was co-opted, the whole metaverse, just because he has billions of users. But I just wanted to throw that out there, that people are aware of even this group here, but even all over the world, that he kind of just co-opted the name, just to that what it seems, just to to jump in and rebrand themselves. But the Winklevoss and a bunch of other organizations have come together to try to, build their own. There's probably going to be a bunch of different metaverses, but I just want to throw that out there. Thank you.
Thanks, Maximino. I don't know if it was Maximino or Maximo.
Maximino.
Sorry. Thank
You
you,
got it.
thank you. Yeah, I think that's funny, and the move, I think, by those twins is interesting too, because they have they founded their own crypto exchange. I think it's called Gemini, and so for them to have this, so they've got this crypto exchange, but now they're gonna make a play into either building their own metaverse and just melding the two, because I think a lot of times there's a confusion between Web3 and the metaverse, and I think there's a lot of similarities, but they're not the same. And so I'd like to kind of pay attention and see what how that's going to play out. And so thank you, for, Maximino. And I want to give Jack and Bolt a chance to speak if you guys have any thoughts. Thank you for being on the stage. And at the same time, I want to welcome everyone in the audience to the room. If you guys have any thoughts on the stories we've been talking about so far, or if you have stories you wanted to share, definitely would love to hear from you, and raise your hand. We'd love to bring you up on stage. So thank you, guys. So Jack, are you available? Or Bolt, I see you on.
Hey, me. Yeah, I would like to actually share an idea on the rebranding. So not just limited to a name change. Uh, think of maybe a very big content creator company, maybe like TikTok or Instagram Reels or something like that. And if they were to change the way the company functions or it's structured to a DAO and actually move to a Web 3.0 based application, uh, that that would be more uh, impactful and significant. And let me actually expand on the idea. So if they introduced paying out the artists or the creators on their platform in terms of some tokens, um, that's one step. And the other step they could introduce is something like staking, that if I want to invest some of my funds and I am able to find the next creator who I think is going to make it, I could stake around $500 to $1,000, hoping that with those $1,000, they're gonna buy better equipment, make better content, and grow. And with that staking, I'll be actually able to share a part of their returns in the future. So that actually creates a proper ecosystem of Web 3.0 of how a company could function in a decentralized manner, uh, and not just limited to a PR move like Meta did.
I like that idea. Now, and Walt, I'm looking for some clarity. Are you saying that technically the money that is staked, so I come to it for the very first time, my buy-in, basically like their crowdfunding is a direct stake crowdfund? Does that make sense? Where the money we put in to fund the project is immediately staked. So now so let me see how this works. We stake it, so it's locked up for a period of time. But can they use those funds to actually improve the project? So now I'm just thinking out loud. So if somebody can help guide me back to the platform, see if what I'm saying makes, because I'm just trying to understand something about staking and crowdfunding just clicked as he was saying that, and I'm trying to make a connection, see if it's something that's viable or if I'm just trying to connect two dots that have nothing to do with each other. I'll yield.
Yeah, sure. So two parties involved basically. One is a content creator who needs better camera, a better lighting setup, a proper studio so that they can make more content. And the other party is an investor who would stake their funds and lock in for a given period of time. And how this is facilitated is through an ERC20 token. Um, and the more tokens you have, more voting rights in the DAO you have, and everything. And the tokens on the side also increase in value as the company grows. So yeah, this is the idea.
Thanks. Thank you both. Thank you for the explanation, because I think it's one way that websites are going to change as we move into the space, because one of the biggest drawbacks with Web 2 was that the, the big tech companies like Google and Facebook, they had access to user data, and it was all monetized based on the information that they gathered for people who who went to the site. And so the shift then, as we move from that setup to Web3, is that the data that people have from a user standpoint, it's going to shift from the web company and the site, the operators of the site, to the users. And so I like the model of like, okay, so if you have um, this entity, this web, because I'm not even sure how it's going to look in terms of like our browser is going to still be the same way that we access the internet. And so when people, because their sites, I think I'm sorry, their browsers like Brave that have tokens for users that, you can go from site to site and have control over your own information in your own profile. And so the way I see DAOs or communities that, they don't have to be a DAO, but if you have like this network of users that have, value in the size of the community, then companies are going to be, because businesses are, they thrive, and they only exist because there's an audience for their product. And so I'm thinking like, okay, so if is that how companies are going to be, they're not going to monetize the audience, but have access to the audience through these communities of users. And that's where I'm still not sure how it's going to play out. And love what you were saying and how you explain it, Bolton. And if anybody else had any thoughts on that, would love to hear from you too. And with that said, otherwise, I'd love to hear from Paul. Thank you for coming up to the stage. And Ahmed, thank you for coming to the stage. Did you guys have any thoughts either from what Bolt was saying or the stories that we're talking about in terms of the block or the change from square to block, or any of the other stories? Or if you had a story you wanted to share too. So thank you guys for being up here. Yeah, I'll just open up the floor popcorn style for anyone who wants to chime in.
Hey, yeah, I agree. I have so many opinions about the different topics that you've been talking about the last couple of hours. And one advantage that Facebook has over the Winklevoss twins metaverse or any other metaverse that's going to be created is the nearly 3 million users that they have just on Facebook alone, in addition to Instagram, WhatsApp, and any other companies that they own. And so if the entrance was, one of those logins from one of those applications to get into the metaverse, then you would see, like you said, any merchant or company that wants to do business in the metaverse would want to be a part of Facebook's metaverse, just because of the amount of data that Facebook has and the number of users and everything. And so, so that's my take on that.
Yeah, Jack, I would actually say that there is, kind of the alternative to that, and that is that the alternative thought process to that, and that is that because of Facebook's investment in data harvesting, there are certain communities and people who do not want to be a part of Facebook's metaverse, 3 million users plus or not. And that would be all the more reason to not do it for sure.
Well, isn't that how like Instagram was its own company, with their own catalog of users and photos and everything? But then once Facebook viewed them as a possible threat, they acquired them. And so couldn't that be the case with any upcoming metaverse?
I mean, sure, but that doesn't mean that they would be acquired just because Facebook wants them. There are certain communities that really just dislike that idea wholeheartedly. Uh, there are other communities, that's what they're setting themselves up for, right? Is to prime themselves to be acquired. Um, all I want is for Facebook to buy some domains for me, and we'll be good. And I can use that to do everything else that I need to do and put forward some motion into some movements that mean a whole lot to me. So, uh, yeah, there's other people out there too. It's
I,
almost, I tend to say this sometimes, but it's almost like in the movies, how you have kind of the mainstream and then you have the resistance. There are forces that do not want that to happen, and I don't know. It'll be interesting how it shakes out, and kind of who wins or what that ends up looking like. But I believe in a decentralized metaverse where people own their intelligence, their IP, and their property, and it is minted on the blockchain, and that ownership is transparent to all. So that's what I get excited about. I don't know.
But I think
That's what they want.
but I
And
think
I
the
can't stop
larger I think the larger that community grows, though, the more centralized it will become, which is what you've seen with certain cryptos. And there will be some type of regulation or authority of that of that community too. So in that case, it would be becoming a little bit more.
I got a comment,
There's
Nicole.
that thought for sure. There's that thought for sure. That doesn't mean, I mean, we'll see how it ends up happening. But it's definitely, there's two sides to that question, and kind of people who think on both sides. So we'll see, because nobody has that crystal ball just yet.
I was gonna say one of the things that's concerning to me is not just the 3 billion people they got on Facebook, WhatsApp, and obviously they have the social media market corner. What my challenge is that all the good developers, and all the people that are, looking to make, living, they're going to be forced to, possibly to an extent, work for the leader, right? The person who's innovating, and Facebook definitely is going to hire those people. They got a lot more money to throw at it, versus a regular startup or startups that are just coming about. So once you get the good ones on that platform, or they're developing for that, we saw that they did it for Oculus. A lot of people that are working for Oculus are really overpaid employees, right? But they're not going to go anywhere because they like their income, right? And that's where the biggest threat comes in from Facebook, where they're going to hire most talented and innovative individuals and go there. So if we're gonna be part of the resistance, I don't know which part I am, but I don't know. I like what Nicole said. Resistant. I'll be part of resistance, but you have to hire those good ones and be able to make income or generate profitability, so you pay them good, so you retain them and give them a lot of other benefits, or they really have to believe in your mission, of what we're trying to accomplish, because it won't be it won't be an overnight. We're stuck with Facebook and these platforms to an extent, even though we like to separate ourselves. So my biggest challenge is what's going to happen to all the good programmers, developers, and people that are creative. What if Facebook comes and tells Nicole, we're going to pay you $250,000, you know for a project? Is Nicole going to say yes or no? What if they really want Nicole? They're like, listen, we're going to give you $500,000 salary, and Nicole is priceless. We're not going to let her go like that. But what if they say $1 million, Nicole? At what point Nicole is going to say no? I'm part of the resistance.
So I've actually been asked this question in a different flavor several times. I wholeheartedly, you don't understand how much I am not a fan of that particular organization and another particular organization. So those two would be on my never ever list, regardless of how much they were willing to pay for me. Um,
I
and
applaud
that,
you for that,
that's
by
just
the
my
way.
heart. Yeah. Thank you. But that's just my soul. I can't. Um, Now, other companies, so if it was Microsoft, then that'd be different. And that's because I think of them differently. And I know that there are people who are just as bullish about not, engaging with a Microsoft entity as I am about not doing it with a Facebook. But, at the end of the day, everybody has kind of their own ethics and their own morals that they are willing to bend, give up, and stick firm on, and that just happens to be one of mine. So yeah,
What if they give you an option to change the organization and you get to do what you want to do? Like
I
you
wouldn't
dictate.
believe it. Like that's the thing. Like
Okay, got
when
it.
you break
Okay, cool.
trust with me, it's real hard to like come back. So I
Yeah,
am. I'm that person.
Nicole is a tough cookie.
No.
Nicole is a tough. Don't mess with Nicole. I made the announcement. You guys heard it. Do not mess with Nicole.
Hey, Vahid, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, bro.
Hey,
Yeah, but
Rico.
but 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 I don't agree with that, Rico. Let me tell you why. If you want to see a change, sometimes you have to go and do that. I 100% agree, and I've used that code literally. I want to say about 150 times with my wife. A lot of times in our company, in our financial services company, she's like, if you were political, you would have made 2, 3 times more money. But I'm like, no, I stand for this, and that's what it is. However, I also know that sometimes I need to go be political, do what I need to do, right? For say to be able to bring that change, right? So that's the only reason I would say that. Like, would it be better for Nicole possibly to go join the company, and within 5 years of her being there, she could literally internally change fundamentally things that would, make other people like Nicole to trust. So you have to look at it both ways too. We can't just say we don't like them, let them go and just be like that. But again, that's just my personal view. I would have gone even if I didn't like them, in the condition that I would be able to, set the terms and be able to bring in that change that I would like to see. Right. So that's one aspect of looking at it. But yeah, good job,
So
Nicole. Don't
here's
mess with Nicole.
here's the thing, Fahid. Like I'm literally that person until I'm not. I have a friend here on Clubhouse who says, I'm all love and light until I'm not. And so for me, I've been down that road where I've literally been that person and said, "Hey, I'm going to come in, I'm going to do this and this and this for you. Here are my terms." And then those terms weren't honored. And so I have literally had to step back and say, okay, you didn't keep up your end of this bargain. I'm leaving, I'm out. And I just don't set myself up like that anymore. So that's because I've experienced it already. I'm not doing it again. And especially not when it comes to like the position I'm in right now, where we have a people that we are trying to lead into this metaverse and to awaken to this metaverse space. I'm not that person that is going to sell that out at all. So that's me.
I got you. Valid point. Valid point.
Hey, can I make a comment? This is Stefan.
Hey, Stefan.
Hey, y'all. Now, for the other side of the coin, no, I'm kidding. I actually have a family member. I have a family member at a Howard University. Was in a fraternity there, and still is. Um, and family members working at Howard right now. And Facebook hired him, and then Meta, they're moving him across the country as uh, in a very top level position to affect change. And that's happening right now. And also a friend close to the family that is an attorney that is highly in our community. And I'm talking about, she's been part of a advocate for she's Black, is an attorney just defending incredible causes, and is now with Meta also. So I would say this, uh, I'm squarely in this place of supporting our community, my kids, my grandkids in the future. Uh, and if somebody's going to give me $2 billion, no, let's say this: if somebody gives me the opportunity to cure cancer for 1/4 of the world and alleviate suffering because there's enough, let's say $1 trillion, just be crazy with it. Who in the world wouldn't? I wouldn't let people stay with cancer and be uncured if there was an access to that, or make it sickle cell anemia or something that's affected people in suffering literally in a physical way. Um, so let's say instead of the money, your opportunity to alleviate the suffering of cancer was going to be there instead of the money. It was a trade-off. I would I would support taking away the suffering. My sister died of cancer. I would support that. So, literally, if it was $1 trillion, they couldn't offer you that because you'd own them. So, of course, you take $1 trillion. So, you know, that's my perspective.
I get your
So
point.
let me
Oh, go
ask
ahead,
you this.
Nicole.
Hang on, Carmela. Let me just clarify this answer. So with what you just said, um, Carmela, go ahead.
Okay. All right. I want to touch on a few things. Stefan, I get your point. It is a very valid point. But I will say how I invalidate it in my thought process is you brought in something that obviously is one of those things where, yes, we care for people and cancers and sickness and death. So that point was very, 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 presented it, it was very lopsided for a point, but I think it works because it's lopsided. Because on the flip side is Meta is not going to cure cancer. Nicole has dealt with situations where people have not held up their end of the bargain in those types of business situations. And I think specifically because it is Facebook as opposed to any other company on the planet, that there is a certain disdain by most people where it's like, you know what? I don't care what you offer me, because that offer is when I would be very comfortable with living within my means. Like, yeah, you can offer me $1 billion, but I'm comfortable living at the 150 hypothetically that I do now, and I can still, although I won't reach as many people, I can do more smaller projects and grassroots where it matters. Whereas I feel Meta will be working on a level where it won't hit the individuals. They'll come up with blanket bullshit pacifying types of programs like, oh, we don't think about you all year, but in February, McDonald's, we're going to run these pro-black commercials where everybody in the McDonald's commercial is black and we're all happy and everything. And on March 1st, all of a sudden, we don't know how to run those commercials anymore. And it's no longer Black History Month. So fuck you guys till Feb 1st next year, to overdo my point. But you get where I'm coming from? It's like, I get it with the health issues. And yes, you would take that money if you can save those lives. But with Meta, it's like, I don't even want to fuck with Facebook. So whatever product it is that they do, I'm sure I can find a billion alternatives that'll make me feel better as a person and as a business person. Does
We
does
should
that
we should
does that
burn
come
our
across?
Oculus in. We should burn our Oculus and not use them one more time.
I'm well as okay. I get your point. I'm not saying burn it. I'm just saying like I feel where she's coming from. Where it's again, it's not that she's not pro finding better ways to reach more people and do bigger things. But and I don't mind that she draws the line at Meta. There's something about that particular company that I just don't want to deal with. And I'm sure you have in some other aspect of your life, there's a particular person, a particular thing, or a type of way where you're like, you know what? Everything being what it is, that thing that I do not want to be part of because of who you are, what you are for what it is, which is why I completely understand where she's coming from with Meta specifically dealing with Facebook. I don't want any parts of them. And to wrap up something that I heard earlier, I also agree with uh, the 3 billion or so that they have is why the hijack and the co-opt is actually going to work into the future, because they just have too many people for it not to happen, because the research that each of us in this space have done and are doing by being in this space and having this conversation will not be done by the overall masses. A lot of people will just still use it as a social platform. And Facebook, I'm sure, is going to come up with a creative way to pivot from just the browser or the messenger app to get a very huge amount of those people into the quote unquote metaverse proper at large. People are just going to think because it's meta, that is what the metaverse is. But I think because it is Facebook, there are going to be a lot of anti that type of machine. So we're going to spend, whereas everybody is whereas I feel like most people are, hey, I have my real name on Facebook. This is the real me. You deal with, I share my life with you. And oh, in the cryptoverse, I have, in the metaverse, quote unquote, I have an alternate identity and I hide myself. I feel as this progresses, we're going to get to a point where you're going to completely live who you are in the metaverse, but have your fake identity in the Facebook metaverse, just so you can keep an eye on what's going in. But it's not a place that you're going to want to say, hey, I hang out there. I am part of that community, because I just think it's going to become anti, especially as we try move towards decentralized. Facebook is probably the most centralized thing on the planet. So yeah, that part.
Nicole, I just wanted to say, if you are a investor of Microsoft, you'll see a few things that came up about the rights for employees and what they're doing. You may not be happy going to Microsoft. That's something that you may want to take a look at before saying that Microsoft would be one of those companies on your list, because there are a few things I see as an investor that Microsoft really doesn't stand up for the rights of people.
Yeah, it's for me it's more about the harvesting of straight up harvesting of data from particular folks. And so yeah, I hear the Microsoft murmurs, and don't get me wrong, honestly, like I might get flack for this too, but I'm a Google girl, so it's neither Facebook nor Microsoft that gets me excited. However, if I'm picking the greater of the better of two evils, it's going to be the Microsoft over the Facebook. But um, I don't think any of them are that great. So that's why I'm talking about decentralized metaverses instead of what they're offering. So um, that is where I stand on it. And yeah, Stefan, that's interesting. Uh, I hear what you're saying, and a trillion or two or three is definitely great, but I think that I will challenge you on the fact that you will own them if you get 3 trillion, because if they can give you 3 trillion, then they've only given you a portion of what they have. And then I will also say that, um, you know, in corporate world, there's something to be said for having an offer in hand and what you do with it at that point. Because when you're in the interview process, if you have an offer, typically you can turn that into a better offer from somewhere else. So that's what I'll
Well,
say about
so the flip side of that is, I think if you have an offer, the actual check in hand, it's different than what we think that we would do about it without the check. Literally, the check in hand, who knows? It could make things different than what we would say we would do on this end. The other thing that complicates this for me is, here we are, massive influence, posting on Instagram all the time. Literally, they share more of our data than Facebook. They share 79% of our data, and Facebook only 57%. So to to be a part of the Instagram family, sharing more of your data than Facebook. And I know they're owned by them, but what about that?
Yeah, Nicole, what about that? I was just going to say the same thing.
Look,
You
hold
know,
on,
if
let's
you have an
break it down real
Instagram
quick.
account, or if you've ever had an Instagram or Facebook account, you're already part of the Facebook meta.
Yeah, Jack, let me just point you directly to my Instagram and Twitter because it is bare bones out there until lately.
I just
And
looked at.
most of it is advertising for Black Metaverse. So I'm not that person either. But this is not about me, y'all. This is the Web 3.0 room, and I want to welcome everybody to this space. Thank you, Emmy, for creating this space. And I also want to encourage everybody to go ahead, if you've enjoyed this conversation, if you found it thought provoking, go ahead and follow the club at the top of the house or at the top of the page. We are talking about this week in Web 3.0. Nicole didn't do much this week, had a couple of interviews and a couple of conferences that were great. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Web 3.0. So, what do you know? What do you think you know? You want to know? That is what we are talking about on this stage today. So, we are going through some of the articles that have come out, the changes that happen in this place are going so fast. So, Emmy, I think you have another one to share. Did you want to go ahead and move on to the next one?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Nicole. Thanks for the room reset.
Uh-oh.
Because again,
Something's going on over there. It's not the Matrix.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I just had my headset on backwards for some reason. But anyway, thank you so much for that, Nicole. I love just having everybody here again. We are talking about the week in Web3. This is our Friday news roundup room. It's under the Web 3.0 club. For everyone that doesn't know, this is our space that we put together so that people can come together. We're learning about the next phase of the internet. Um, we'd like for it to be the best place that you can share what you know, ask questions if you don't know, and just learn together. Because this is just an exciting space. We cover so many different topics in relating to Web3. We've talked about DAOs, the metaverse. We haven't even touched on like AI, artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things, which I think is going to be a big part of the Web3. And so, yeah, we were just talking about, let's see, some of the stories. Let's see. So we talked about the record yacht sale in Sandbox. And then we mentioned Adidas. They're getting further along in the metaverse. They've just partnered up with the Bored Ape Yacht Club, CryptoPunks. They're putting. They even redid an NFT of one of the Bored Apes with a nice Adidas tracksuit. So they're definitely making a push. We talked about Square's name change. Jack Dorsey, as you may or may not have known, was the CEO of Twitter. He stepped down as their CEO and to focus on his other company, Square, making a bigger play into the crypto space. We talked about, or even mentioned in passing. Didn't really get to spend a lot of time on it on the event going down in Miami. Art Basel, Basil. I still don't know. I mean, we've been
Basil.
Basil. Okay, see, we've
Not
been here for almost 2 hours. So we were talking about that, and then we even had we were mentioning about the new Matrix movie, my man Carmelo, and I think Quentin. Has their profile. It looks like they were able to snag an NFT, and I see a couple of people in the audience too that have profiles with the new nifty NFTs because the Matrix is coming out with a new version. I mean, a new one, Resurrections. Definitely fascinating to see how that's played out. And so, a couple other stories that we hadn't mentioned last week, was Thanksgiving week here in the U.S. And I failed to mention that even Macy's. I mean, Macy's is a we're talking about legacy companies, legacy tech companies, Twitter, Facebook, Meta, but Macy's is like the grand one of the granddaddies of the brick and mortar retail space. They even sponsored their own NFT. And then another story that I had seen was in reference to Apple coming up with their own device that is um, an augmented reality, which may be a standalone device. And I mean, Apple, oddly enough, at least odd to me, has been pretty quiet in the you've heard of a lot of these big tech companies coming out with their own version of the metaverse, but I haven't heard too much about Apple. But then I saw this story on TechCrunch about it. But first, I'm gonna post the story on about the Thanksgiving NFT. So while I'm doing that, I'm just gonna leave have an open conversation the popcorn style. So anyone else who wants to chime in, thank you, Joe and Aladdin, for coming on the stage, and thank you, Samuel, for coming up too. So yeah, let me just post a story, and then yeah, I'll just anybody who wants to chime in so far. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead. And also, I'm gonna just invite everyone in the audience. I see my friend Aggie. Aggie's one of my earliest friends here in Clubhouse. Good to see you, Aggie. It's good to see Taya also here in the audience, and everyone else. If you guys want to come up, if you have any thoughts about the stories we've mentioned, or maybe you want to share your own story, please, raise your hand. We'd love to have you on the stage. And I want to do a quick announcement too, because we've been going on for about 2 hours, and so I'm changing things up a little bit this week in the Web3 Club, because we normally, I used to just have rooms that were running for an hour, maybe 2 hours at the most. But because of the community, I love how the conversation just keeps going on for hours and hours. What I'm going to do this week is just we'll keep the conversation going. But what I want to do, because we do now have replay, is that I'm going to close the room in about 10 minutes, unless anyone has any more stories they want to discuss. But the main reason behind that is that when we close the room down after the replay, people can come back, because I've seen people coming back into the club listening to our replays. And for me, and I think for a lot of people too, that when you see a room that you see has been going for hours and hours. I mean, I think our last room went for almost 6 hours. You kind of are reluctant to listen in, but I want to make I want to make these rooms as valuable as possible to people who want to come in and just get the news, get see what's going on in Web3. So I'm gonna close the room in a little bit, so that we have a nice a cap, or at least just a cap on the length of the room, but I'll reopen the room so that people can continue talking. So that way, when people come back, it's um, a reference for people to come back and check it out. So just that being said, so I'm gonna mute myself, post a story about Macy's, and then yeah, everyone who wants to chime.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ahmed from Egypt. Thank you very much for this nice room. I enjoyed a lot what you talked about. We are working on a new NFT project in the first phase. Then we wanted to make it into Metaverse and games that on blockchain attached to, or the idea is related to the ancient Egypt history. We will publish some NFTs attached with replicas, and even fully trip to Egypt to visit Egypt, to have a VIP tours in our museums and other places here in Egypt. And we are asking for or I wanted to ask you if you wanna go into metaverse. We don't have the technical guys here in Egypt, so we are looking to find like a co-founder company or a tech company to help us in doing this. So my question is, how we can find this company and how we can choose it. Okay, so if anyone have an advice for this, I'll be very thankful for it.
Hey, Abed, thanks for coming up on the stage. But I wanted to keep the conversation about the news that we're talking about. So we don't want to take time away from people who want to come in and learn about what's going on in the Web3 space. And so I appreciate your share, but I'd like to kind of keep the conversation about the stories that we're talking about, as far as everything coming up this week, because things change so fast. And I, we may have rooms on other days about the topics you're talking about. Whether you're looking for support or developers or tech people or investors, I think it's a great topic to have as well. So I appreciate your share. Anyway, I just posted that story. So apparently the bids on the Macy's NFT is at 300,000. It's not like the 100 million Matrix NFT that we saw just recently. I think Carmelo, you'd mentioned some of them, and I had to scratch my head. And I think Nicole, we were wondering, like, is it really that M99 really million? We'll see who ends up buying close to whatever it is. But anyway, so here's the story about Macy's. Anyone else who wanted to chime in on that or any of the other stories, please.
I was just going to ask if Adidas Metaverse has a name to it.
Oh, what was that, Stefan?
Is there a name for Adidas Metaverse?
So apparently, I'm not sure. I know that they have a space on Sandbox. I don't know if they have a place on Centraland, but if it's a Adidas specific metaverse, I have not seen it. They very well could be working on their own because I mean, Nike, I think, is involved. Some of the stuff that I've seen especially last week when we were talking about that sale in Decentraland, a lot of the big time fashion houses like Louis Vuitton and I don't even. I'm not a fashion person, so I really don't know. But I love that these sporting good companies and who else? I want to see. I wouldn't be surprised if Puma, any Reebok, But yeah, it's when you see Macy's and Adidas making a big play, they definitely it's a big sick.
Yeah, and about this Macy's Day Thanksgiving balloon auction, what strikes me or what struck me immediately was how I heard that these floats and balloons are being auctioned off for 300,000, and I said, "Oh, that's really low." Like, in comparison to
Yes.
everything else we've seen, it's super low. And I guess maybe that's a starting point, but still, it like that's how fast things are changing that you're not even batting an eye at a balloon going up for 300,000. So, honestly, like this is something that like if I were uber rich, I would probably bid on because who doesn't want a piece of the Thanksgiving parade, like just in general. But yeah, I'm not. So
Yeah, and it's a good partnership too, Nicole. I'm reading up on it, and I like the fact that again, I don't know how much of the proceeds are going to go toward the Make a Wish Foundation, but at least there is some altruism that's a part of this endeavor. Of course, I know it's not entirely about that, but I do like that they are partnering and giving something, to the Make a Wish Foundation, and that's something we were talking about earlier. Is that it's amazing that what we're seeing in the crypto space, we're now seeing in NFT space. All these partnerships that a lot of crypto companies, we were talking about crypto.com earlier, the partnerships they have with the Staples Center, as well as the partnership they have with the 76ers. They're building so much credibility, and that also gives them credibility. When you're able to establish these type of relationships. And now we're seeing this in the NFT space with, with the likes of Bored Apes and Adidas. That gives Bored Apes a high level of credibility that's going to help really expand their reach. It's amazing how far can their reach go, but obviously it can go even further. We was in a room earlier today, one of Yinka's room. She does some amazing rooms, and we were talking about how now these Bored Apes are now also a part of these fractional platforms like Rally Road. So there's so many opportunities now to acquire some of these assets in so many different ways. But yeah, I really like it. I think it's kind of cool. I looked at some of the NFTs; they look really dope. Kind of has this Disney type feel to it, man. So yeah, man, I'm with Nicole. I was actually thinking like, man, that's all. You know what I mean? That's
What about you, Emmy? What was your favorite?
My favorite float.
Yeah.
Is that? Oh, I love the Pikachu one because I mean with kids, they love Pokemon, and I don't know if they sold that one or if that is an NFT. But really, I just look for that one, and then at the end, I love the Santa send off. So that's really all we watch the parade for. We never really uh, pay too much attention to it. It's just playing in the background while we're getting Thanksgiving ready. I don't know. What about you? And what anyone else? You guys watch the parade and talk about your float, or if you would buy an NFT.
I don't watch the parade anymore because it's just a waste of time, to be honest. I hope that didn't rub anybody the wrong way, but Snoopy and Woodstock, guaranteed. When I used to watch it and wanted to go, I always wanted to see Snoopy and Woodstock. And if they made those, I would want to buy those if I could afford.
Can we get a
Just
float, please? Next year, somebody. Can we get Franklin?
A what?
just
Franklin from Peanuts. Get Franklin.
I'm sorry.
Sammy,
All right,
Just
let's
wanted
get Franklin.
Yeah, man. I'm sure that went over a lot of people's heads, man. But shout out to Franklin, man. Let's
Shout
get
out
Franklin.
to Franklin.
Okay,
Hey, man.
Franklin. What did you say, Samuel?
I wanted to mention I tried to get one of the NFTs, and I got a Google security issue when I put in my information to get the NFTs, which I thought was really weird. So it was it was the balloon float when they initially released them, because they released them for free that morning on Thanksgiving. So you had to log into a specific site that they gave you to put your name in for an NFT, and then once your information was in, the NFT would be set up on an account. I think it might have been Polygon that they set up the NFTs. I have to go back and take a look, but when I put my information in, there was a security issue that popped up in my email from Google. So I don't know exactly what happened, but it wouldn't allow me to get the NFTs. I was stopped.
Dang, so you missed out on a whole entire Thanksgiving thing. That sucks.
Yeah, I tried my best to get it, but it just I had a major security issue. It was like a fraudulent login.
Ooh.
Is what popped up on my Google.
Don't be clicking them links. No, I'm just kidding. That's actually really awful. I am sorry, but they are on the Polygon network, which is Matic. So definitely, test out Matic, because lots of the ETH NFTs are shifting to Matic, because Ethereum NFTs are shifting over to Matic, or using that as their actual blockchain, because there is gasless minting there, and it is less taxing on the collector. So when you're engaging in some of the communities, they are going to be using Matic. So definitely take a look at that, as well as all the other blockchains that are available that are doing things a little bit differently. While I do love Ethereum, I absolutely hate the situation we're in right now with gas fees. So Yeah,
do want to ask you, Decentraland, they have NFTs that are available, but the odd thing is the NFTs are like hundreds of thousands of ETH. I'm not sure if you've seen that on Decentraland's platform. Like getting an NFT there is pretty outrageous, I think.
it is, and a lot of the metaverses with plots of land are that way. Um, and that's the situation we're in. We're trying not to be in that situation. That's why we're trying to get people aware of these spaces as soon as possible, so that they can claim a piece of virtual real estate for themselves. Luckily, there are other places to be. So if you, I'm gonna shamelessly plug myself real quick here, or plug Black Metaverse here real quick, and that is a movement that started here on Clubhouse, but you can join the Discord server and check out the list of virtual lands locations that we have, the different metaverses that are available for you to buy that. Because Decentraland, CryptoVoxels, those are not the only places out here, and they're not the only decentralized ones. And just like there are other blockchains to be a part of and partake in NFT with, there are other metaverses that are also out there. Those are definitely the two that are getting the most that are very mainstream right now. But there's other ones. Sandbox is the third, and then the AR platform, Superworld is also out there. There's a lot. So definitely know that as more people are waking up to the metaverses, people are making more metaverses. So there will be more to come, and a lot of games are also becoming full-on metaverses where they're allowing you to not only buy NFTs but also to buy metaverse real estate, virtual real estate, and
Sorry, go ahead. I was cutting.
yeah. So definitely looking forward to helping you navigate that if you need it, as well as just keep your eyes peeled because this stuff is happening and changing very, very fast in this space. Go ahead, Stefan.
Sorry, I just wanted to mention another one, a cheaper option called Ember Sword, EMBER Sword. And they recently had a land sale, which sold out. They had different tiers, the cheapest tier being $45. And, the prices went up from there, but they sold out. And I'm sure you can, if you wanted to buy a plot of land on that platform, you can buy it in the secondary market really cheap.
What blockchain was that?
Ember Sword, and they have a coin too. Oh, I'm sorry. I think that's Ether. Actually, I'm not 100% certain, but I want to say it's Ether, and they have their own coin.
Is anyone up on the news about Omniverse as opposed to Metaverse?
Say that again.
Yes,
Omniverse as opposed to Metaverse. So NVIDIA has built Omniverse as opposed to Metaverse. So their platform is different. It's actually like a fully environmental platform. So people will virtually work inside of the virtual space. There will be factories like to build whatever is needed for the universe itself, and AI intelligence. And it's getting to a point where like you as a person will be transferred into the digital space.
Well, I'd like to comment on that.
Yeah,
Now you go, Nicole.
I'm still interested to kind of find out how that's different from a metaverse. I've heard about it. I don't see it being different. Like we have somebody who built a 3D simulation in is a metaverse. So I'm trying to understand. Literally, did Nvidia just kind of say, okay, this is our omniverse and it's omni, so it's better, or is there something that truly makes it a meta or an omniverse over a metaverse? Kind of what their logic was with that. I haven't dug a whole lot into it, but I do know the capabilities are similar, and maybe theirs is just the scalability piece, but I I don't think that that would be it. So I don't know.
Yeah, so it was the last comment that you made, Samuel. Kind of the blurred distinction or something between where we really are and out there or something. Time Magazine, you also know, has a new. They're now doing a newsletter regularly on just the metaverse. So there's Time Magazine, and now their new release is a regular newsletter. And one of the definitions that they gave on there that is that the metaverse is it's a way in which our physical and digital selves are becoming increasingly blurred. So that statement that you said, Samuel, yeah, I'm finding it really interesting. It seems way ahead for me, and yeah, I'm not there. Like,
Okay.
for me to actually be here, and yet I'm there too. I get it, and it sounds like it's good writing and thinking, and yeah, there's probably something out there, but right
Let me
now, I,
well, let me present an idea to you, okay? Because I just wrote a thesis about AR and VR spaces and how everything all intertwines. So think of it this way: you have your digital self going into your physical self going into a digital world, right? That digital world is knowing what you do as a physical person based on the information that you give it, right? You take that information and you have that information read by an AI machine. The AI machine picks up your personality and knows your information because you're feeding it constantly. So basically, you're transferring your physical self to a digital self, right? So then, my question is, of course, what happens when your physical self is gone? Now your digital self is being ran by an AI machine. So you could actually pass your life on into a digital space that's basically an AI machine that's done everything in the background as to what you've done with the information that you're feeding it. So
Trans.
your habits that you follow, the things that you eat, because you took so many pictures on Instagram, it's ridiculous. So it knows exactly what you eat. It knows the things that you like, that trend. So you get, pretty much pulled into that one environment. So you could transcend from a physical person to a digital person until either A, I guess a computer virus will get you, or B, you are deleted from that space. But
Yeah,
as
technically,
most of us know, when people go into a virtual space, they don't get deleted. I have a friend that passed away years ago, and he still has a digital persona.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go in a second, Jack. I just want to make an announcement. We are shutting the room down, as Emmy said, but we are going to transition to a new room. So don't go away yet, so you can get the info on the new room, so we can set it up. But then go ahead, Jack, and then I'll tap in.
yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, you'll be able to live eternally in the metaverse, especially if Meta Hero's roadmap comes to fruition. Meta Hero is planning on having these chambers all throughout the world where you can walk into their chamber and create a NFT of yourself or of whatever physical asset you want to create an NFT of, and so that will allow you to have your image within the metaverse, which you could use to participate in games or even participate in commercials or movies and get royalties from that. And yeah, and so like if you were to transfer your digital image or digital NFT of yourself to somebody else, then yeah, you could potentially be active in the metaverse forever, even after.
and the big thing is, what do you mean by you? That's the big thing right there.
Yeah. We actually have people who are already doing this. We have someone that we met in our VR room, that has taken his persona from Second Life and decided to copy it, or to program it with his knowledge of his invention process. He's an inventor. So, that, like I said, I don't really get the difference between what they did and the metaverse, as well as all the concepts we've spoken about, combining the metaverse with Web 3.0 and the blockchain. Um, and that includes VR, AR, and MR, or XR, whichever way you like to phrase that. But I don't get it. I don't get what's different. So I will look into that, and I'll get it soon. I promise you that. But we are gonna go ahead and shut things down. I'm gonna pass it over back to Emmy. We are not going away though. We'll have a new room set up, and Emmy will tell us where we're gonna head to. But stay tuned for that. And if you have not already, please tap on the club at the top of the stage and go ahead and follow the room. Um, Also, if anybody on stage has said anything that resonates with you, if you like people talking about technology, Web 3.0, and otherwise, please go ahead and follow them. If anybody in the audience resonates with you after you tap on their bio, please do the same. This is Nicole, and my voice is resting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Yeah, just like we were saying, we're gonna close the room down because with replays on, I want to make the rooms accessible for people when they come back and check out our club and they come back and listen to rooms. Because I think it's better for people to listen to the 1 or 2 hour rooms and then go into ones that's a 6 or 7 hour one. So I've scheduled a new room, but I'm going to open it right back up. So I'm going to close this room. I'm going to actually just, if it's all right, Nicole and Marv, I'm going to leave the room and then have you guys close it. And that way, have it already open. So I already have you guys on as co-hosts. So I will see you guys over there. Thank you so much, everybody.
Emmy, what are you going to call it?
Wait.
Good.
Ping us on the back channel with a link, and we'll post it in this room, and people can just hop.
Yes,
Good idea. See,
if we can put the link on top. Yes, thank you. If
You
we can
guys
put
are
the
so
link
awesome.
on-
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, I will do that. I'm calling it the Web3 happy hour, just because again, we're hanging out. This is a great way to end the week. I love hanging out with all my web family here. So yes, thank you for the reminder. And yeah, I'm going to do that right now. So I'll see you guys over there.
Right on. It means awesome. So guess what? I have an announcement. So I was on a conference earlier today, and there was a guy on the conference. It was the Enter the Metaverse conference, supposedly the largest in everywhere so far. But the guy literally was wearing his avatar. And so all of his movements or his avatar, like he was there, but he was behind his little crypto dude. And so it was just cool because it's like that's where we're going. We're going there. And yeah, that's awesome.
it's pretty cool actually. You gotta let us know about this once seminars or groups that get put on there. That's awesome, Nicole. Thank you for that. And I know you guys were talking about how AI will take your personality and you'll live on through the meta, whichever meta that will be. And well, hey guys, so here's the link above. Nicole just shared it with everyone. Please go there so we can continue the conversation. Web3 happy hour from Web 3.0 Club. Please go there. Before I continue, I'm not gonna continue actually. I'm just gonna get you guys to follow that room on the link above, and then we will see you there. So yeah, we'll give you guys another minute or so before you can get over there before we close this room.
And now a little elevator music. Do, 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 do.
That's awesome. I love it.
Let me see if I can find some Nintendo music or something. That'll be fun.
Everyone's gonna leave. Didn't you notice that? The moment I started singing, everybody was just, oh no, I'm not gonna put up with this BS. I'm leaving. All right, guys. Yeah. So once again, everyone, we're closing this room. If you can please just, we're gonna open a new one, or actually one that's already open. You follow the link above there. Oh, there you go. Woo!
Wait, finish what you were saying.
Yeah, click on the link above Nicole's in my head. That's going to take you to the new room we just opened. We're going to continue the conversation there. We will be closing this room in a minute or so. So please get your butt over there. Now.
Yep. All right. Now, what you've all been waiting for, the room exit music.
I used to make my Mario dance when this at some points in the game.
That's cool. Hey Nicole, I'm gonna head over there. Feel free to close the room whenever you see fit.
Yeah, I can't hear, so just end it when you're ready. All right, Emmy's ready. Let's go. Shut it down, Marv.
All right. To the count of 3, 2, and 1. See you in the other room. See you on the dark side.
Bye, guys. Thanks for being here.